What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 21 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Thorgrim Grudgebearer Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, a bunch of fantastic battles, especially towards the end of the episode, saw Malachi take on Sarthoriel Everwatcher, and a battle against the Ogres of Golgi Maneater saw us get very annoyed at the useless Umgi for getting in the way of our guns. Hey, I see this flamethrower unit, I'm just gonna stand right in front of it. It'll be funny. Anyway, oh, what do you expect from the Lowlanders? Anyway, we did not, however, finish the turn because there was still another battle to do, and we did kind of ran out of time, especially since the episode already went pretty long. Just generally speaking throughout the campaign too. But anyway, just trying something. Anyway, we've got this fight, and that's how we're gonna start this episode. Belgar Iron Hammer, Valiant defeat, casualties high, pretty solid stack of enemies. 4 units of Orc Boar Boy Biggins, 3 regular Biggins, 2 Black Orcs, an Ragnarok, a Savage Giant, a Night Goblin Big Boss, and a Caster, who we can hopefully snipe with our 3 Bolt Throwers. We'll see how they do. They do hit pretty darn hard here. This Bolt Thrower with the Runa Penetration is up to 1.1k damage, which is pretty darn solid. Not to the degree perhaps of our named Bolt Thrower, Del Nolas, but still pretty good. Anyway, let's get this one started and see if we survive. Alright, here we go. The King of 8 Peaks starts the day today with a pretty nice stack of the orcs, or greenskins rather, specifically against us, not just orcs. And we'll see whether we can sort of win without taking too many casualties. But I do still think that we should be able to win, and that I'm pretty confident despite what the auto result is saying here. I suppose that we will be focusing down the enemy single entities, but they do have a fairly large number of the Black Orcs, Biggins, etc., that will be able to reach our line no matter what we do. So we'll see how well we can fight them off. Once again, gotta remember that our line is largely composed of miners, at least our main line, and their defensive stats ain't all that great, so we shall see. Anyway, first of the enemies move into range and start taking hits from our bolt throwers. And of course we'll retarget the bolt throwers at more critical units, but only once the said critical units are actually in range. Not a bad idea to knock out a few of the Black Orcs before they reach us. Anyway, not a lot of them, mind you, but some. Anyway, looks like we're targeting the enemy Goblin Great Shaman. Don't want him launching those vindictive glares at us, and the bolt throwers are gonna send him flying repeatedly, and it looks like he's trying to back off rather than continue to take hits. We'll also be targeting the enemy Ragnarok Spider, which has already shed about 40% of its HP, which is pretty solid considering I believe there's only 1 bolt thrower, now 2 bolt throwers attacking it, while the third goes after the enemy Black Orc Big Boss, who is also down by about 40% of its HP. A couple more hits and the big spider will fall, having achieved absolutely nothing in this particular battle. We're ignoring the giant for now because the giant has massive amounts of missile resistance, wherein the Ragnarok does not have, I think, any missile resistance, might be 10% or something pretty minimal. Anyway, Black Orc Big Boss is also just about done for, and what? Oh my lord, okay. An explosive rune on that bolt makes sure that the enemy Black Orc Big Boss will explode. Gonna now switch targets to the enemy Goblin Great Shaman, the Goblin Rock Lobbers, which are firing away at us, and of course the enemy Giant, which is slowly on the approach, but I do imagine that it will be able to get to us. We have a pretty decent position back here, forest behind us, and a tower to our left flank, plus the cliff that it stands on, giving us a little bit of impassable terrain. Spider Riders, together with some Boar Boys, gonna lead the charge, and dude, throw some blasting charges. What are you doing? Okay, apparently our miners refuse to throw any blasting charges this time around, but hey, at least our At least our various rangers are firing away. A little bit of a range shootout with the enemy, who has plenty of range units. Okay, these guys chuck their blasting charges, and it looks like a few of those forest goblins had a pretty bad day. Belegar's still waiting for the main enemy army to arrive, but they might be a little bit too afraid of him. Taking shots on our iron breakers, but fortunately their shields mean that the enemy is not having too great a day here. At the very least, not going to do too much damage to same set iron breakers. And at the end of the day, we might just replace all of the miners with iron breakers. Even with the stats that Belegar gives them, they're going to still be vastly inferior to the iron breakers. So like I said before, I think maybe we'll sort of use the miners for a while, and then eventually in the late game switch to iron breakers for him. Alright, and the battle lines are joined, and we have had to reinforce our lines in a few places with Bugman's Rangers, just in case, as the enemy is going to be able to dish out plenty of damage to those miners. And besides, with 90 armor, 62 melee defense, and that liquid fortification that they've got, they should be able to hold the enemy off fairly decently. And that is certainly the name of the game here. I mean, holding the enemy off, as we are pretty much engaged everywhere but the center, where the enemy was too afraid to actually deal with our iron breakers, or perhaps smartly decided that they would have no chance of getting through them. Nice to see the Bugman's Rangers working in melee a little bit. We'll probably get Joseph Bugman up and running next episode and start his caravan up. And we'll have a few more Bugman's Rangers there. Not doing a lot of running and gunning in this particular army as yet, but that'll change, and I was thinking about a run and gun army. Okay, well, we'll get back to it later. It might be another reason to get more Bugmans in a different army. And ooh, bunch of squigs get summoned and hit our sort of back line. Bugman's Rangers and the miners get hit here. Unfortunate for them. On the bright side, though, the enemy range units have been pretty decimated by the range shootout. The goblins or the orc airboys, neither are going to have any kind of chance at winning a range shootout with a dwarf and, well, really any range unit. Especially since all the dwarf and range units are more or less hybrid units and can fight in melee pretty darn okay. Looks like the Savage Giant has found Belegar, or actually more appropriate would be that Belegar has found the Savage Giant as he moved from the center line towards it, and it looks like the Giant is broken and wants no part of dishing out damage to Belegar, or taking damage would again be more accurate. Black Orcs still surrounding Belegar, but similarly they're going to have a difficult time getting through the massive amount of armor and massive amount of melee defense that he's got. Not that they have a prayer in doing so, as it looks like their army is pretty much done for. 94 melee defense and 175 armor plus that directional shield. Alright. I wonder just how much range damage it would take to bring Belegar down. It might be neat to see, but I don't think we're liable to encounter any enemy faction that has that much range capability. Maybe the Tomb Kings, actually, if Ushapti with the Great Bow and Bone Giants all focused him. Anyway, with that, the enemy army will break, and the battle's ours. Seems like no problem. Obviously, we did take a lot of damage to some of our miners with blasting charges while they attempted to hold the enemy off, but at the end of the day, still held pretty darn well. Alright, there we go. Really fun fight. Did look like we were almost getting overwhelmed there for a second, but at the end of the day did manage to fight the enemies. Plenty of damage on the various units of Bugman's Rangers, a little bit less on the regular Rangers, and most damage done, of course, to our main line of miners, which, you know, makes sense. Funnily enough, very little damage coming out of the iron breakers. I've noticed this before, but they have this weird habit of not wanting to chuck their blasting charges. Like, they'll be in range of a unit, and they'll just sort of sit there, I don't know, paralyzed with, I don't know, wondering where exactly to check the blasting charges or what. But yeah, they do have that bad tendency, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? Yeah, obviously the miners took a lot more damage, even than the Bugman's Rangers that were fighting in melee, due to the ability of those guys to regenerate. But I still think it's nice to have the miners in this army. Of course, they're vastly inferior to the Bugman's Rangers. It's just that, I don't know, it keeps the battles a little bit more interesting, rather than just killing everybody from range. You know what I mean? All in the name of the themed armies. I do think that these regular Rangers will be evolved into Bugmans because they provide no functional difference to them. I still think that they need to be modified slightly so that there is a reason to actually field them, so that they have a small niche that the Bugman's Rangers do not. Specifically, I think the regular Ranger should be given fire at will, where the Bugman's Rangers do not have it. And thus, just that alone will give them fire at will, and especially considering that they have a forward-firing cone, it'll mean that they can only... well, they can only fire at will while moving forward, not while running and gunning, so it wouldn't make them the same as like a pistol infantry, like a Slayer pirate unit. What it would do is it would give them the ability to chase enemy units down while firing as they go, which would be pretty neat. Anyway, heroic victory, we're going to heal up because we'll want to occupy the place, so attract replacements. Alright, there we go, ally mission successful. Ooh, several ally missions successful. Brock Ironpick has the easy come, easy gone trait that he achieved from defeating Golgi, which is a pretty nice trait. Funnily enough, last episode I was wondering what the trait was, and then coincidentally somebody got the same said trait in the Discord before I got this this episode up and running, and thus already familiar with it. Lovely. You, Constructor, and enemy killed in battle. Okay, there's gonna be a bunch of these. Tons of enemies killed in battle all over the place. Hey, free talisman of preservation. We'll certainly take that. Don't care for the terrifying Mask of E or the Sword of Swift Slaying, but maybe we can turn them into something useful. A dragon something is ours. Malachi got a banner of swiftness and a brewmaster. And Clan Spittle is secured. Upkeep production for Thunderers and Slayers, though at this point in time the upkeep production is probably not as relevant as it once was. You can switch to High King's Tribute, and I just want to check how's that plague doing. We no longer have the plague here, right? And this place is now safe. We still have it in Magurkhan. It doesn't seem to have spread to the other location, and it's got 2 turns. I guess we can switch you then off of this and put you back into High King's Tribute, and then hopefully Magurkhan will be able to deal with that. Anyway, alright, we were gonna jump you over. Do we have military access with these guys? Yes, indeed we do. And I'm assuming that though they are occupying mountainous territories, they're not actually occupying any key dwarven settlements, which doesn't seem to be the case. So we'll jump here, and then we'll go after these little red shield greenskins before bouncing around between the territories currently held by the Tomb Kings. Now, there's a couple of other things that we want to do. First of all, ooh, this is nice. And oh my lord, okay, that's a lot of undead. That should be fun. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. I wanted to do something, and I don't remember what it was. I was thinking while the turn was ending, I gotta do this, and now, oh yeah, you know what we gotta do? We gotta capture these settlements wherein we are about to, well, capture settlements, because I want to see if the game crashes. May as well do it right now. And just start with whichever settlement will get captured, and it looks like Malachi, you're up, sir. Frankly, the Banner of Swiftness isn't going to be too useful on you. You're already roughly as fast as the Slayer pirates are, so it's probably pointless to increase your speed. Anyway, I might give that to another Lord Auto-Resolve. Let's see if it crashes. Occupy. And crash it will not. Lovely. Okay. As Sarthoriel's Everwatchers with that will be destroyed, we will be transferring this thing to our Great Orthodoxy allies. And speaking of the Orthodoxy allies, so there was a comment saying that the reason that we can't recruit is because we only have the tier 2 rather than the tier 3 outpost, and I remember in a previous campaign that was not actually the case, as that it just wouldn't let you recruit certain units. And if we take a look at this, we'll go to the Great Orthodoxy, which we just saw that we have a tier 3 building. And as we can see here, we have no access to Ergen cannons, which is a shame. I also thought that this that would fix the situation, but it doesn't. For whatever reason, the game just doesn't want to let us build them, and we know that these guys have access to them because they have one in basically every army. Ergen cannons, okay, this isn't really an army, but 2 Ergen cannons here, and Ergen cannons there, every single army, and none for us. Interestingly, they're not bothering with the little Groms and just spamming Ergen cannons. I wonder if wonder why the AI is doing that. Man, it makes me want to play Kislev to just mix and match artillery. Now they can properly have a sort of proper artillery-focused army, since they have 2 artillery pieces in SFO. Anyway, Malachi, while you're here and while we have the cash, might as well upgrade everything we've got because, well, free upgrades and all that. I mean, not free, but for us they may as well be free. Just upgrading everything that we have here, and then we may as well build up the engineering workbench. Lovely. Alright, you can sit there for now, and might still replace 2 of these pirates with a couple of engineers. It just feels wrong not to have the engineers in Malachi's army, even though he buffs the heck out of those Slayer pirates. 111 weapon strength, 113 missile strength. Actually, out of curiosity, I want to see Ungrim's regular Slayers to compare to the Slayer pirates. Under Ungrim, they actually hit less hard than Malachi's Slayer pirates do, with only 103 weapon strength. And that without the missile strength. Are you saying that Malachi is a better Slayer than Ungrim, game? Is this what you're getting at? Anyway, Thorgrim, let's get moving, sir. Hello, King Inathor. Okay, I guess we just can't reach this place, but it doesn't matter. He's obviously going to run away from Thorgrim. Even with these 2 armies, ain't no way he even attempts this, as that would be insanity. Thorgrim, do we have an undead grudge? Yeah, we do have the undead grudge, okay. So, Vikram Burdrick, right. You have this runesmith, and I guess we're going to carry said runesmith up here somewhere to transfer to another army. It's a high-level runesmith after all. I just built a runesmith for you. You have Karaki. You're only level 9 though, so maybe we give this to runesmith to this particular army. I'll think about it. Alright, we also have global recruitment free, so we will definitely want to make some good use of that. Mr. Dwinbar, with your Axe Storm, you are done recruiting. Your army is basically maxed out in the sense that it is, it has all the troops it wants, so you're ready to move. Lovely. Joseph of Zorn, you're next. And, okay, how long until you get your bloody runesmith? He's been gone for so long, I don't even remember what it feels like to have that runesmith in our army anymore. Go from Palmworm's Lair. Should be a quick little auto-resolve. This faction is pretty much destroyed already. And this is the edge of our territories in this portion of the map. We will quick save and auto-resolve this because this is obviously a waste of our time. We've seen what we can do against armies, 5 times as strong as this with Joseph of Zorn's army. And another Scarecrow banner. We'll certainly take that. Useful for a bunch of our armies. And there we go, Stonemason, Province Secure, Dragon's Breath, Scarecrow banner. You can hold on to it for now, though I might transfer it to another. And Sires of Morcane destroyed. Lovely. Start collecting income, go immediately into High King's Tribute, and we're good to go to move southward and start attacking the Thunderguts. I suppose an option would be to trade Thunderguts territory to Imric, since we're not intending to hold it ourselves, and thereby maybe acquire the Graves of the Dragons that he stole from us by doing so. Certainly an option. And of course, we could still fight around here. I just have no intention of actually holding any more territories, especially any of these yellow territories, as that's just, it's too much of a hassle, and we have a just huge empire at this point. 162 settlements, turn 90, nearly 300,000 gold per turn and all that. Though, of course, we still have a lot of expensive buildings, so yeah, anyway. Ulfar Norgrimling, you need to be transferring the Frostworm. Also, this looks pretty weak. Let's, I don't know why I decided to move in March stance beside Ungrim. That seems like a generally bad idea. Anyway, you, I guess, are going this way. Oh. It would be no, you're gonna get intercepted if you try that. Go through Zufbar. You gotta get that Frostworm to where it needs to go. Ungrim, kill. And quick save, even though it's unlikely to crash. We've had it happen at least once throughout this campaign. And auto-resolve. Don't damage the Slayers, I'd wager, but, it is what it is. No, actually barely even damage the Slayers, and we could heal up. It's not enough Oath Gold to be of concern. Speaking of Oath Gold, we have earned a decent amount now. Maybe we're finally able to go for the last of the character runes. Ooh, I like those melee defense plus 10 runes. Those are definitely going on Slayer Lords and Heroes. Wait, what does a Rune of Fire do? Flaming attacks. Ooh, that'll be useful in our fire armies. Hey, more bonus versus large. We can pop those on the Slayers as well, or maybe not. No, they might not have rune. They might not have room. I said they might not have a rune, and now I'm amused at myself. Dazed contact effect reduction, melee defense reduction. This is pretty neat for armies that will have troops like the, let's say, Longbeards with sword and board that have a low melee attack, or even Ironbreakers. Things with low melee attack just to counteract that. Master Rune of Flight I don't find super useful, but we could put it on one of our engineer masters or our guild masters, and funnily enough they have the option to get their own Master Rune of Flight, but this way we could, at least on one of them, have it anyway. Alright, anything else we got? Master Rune of Alaric the Mad, basically plus 50 armor piercing damage. It's okay, but I don't know, plus 50 armor piercing damage doesn't feel like a Master Rune to me. Master Rune of Snorri Spanglehelm, however, with plus 25, is a pretty big difference. Alright, I'll probably distribute these between the episodes, because it's a lot of admin figuring out what I want to go, and I'll just show you guys eventually, once I actually get it done. Rune of Cleaving, yeah, plus 25. Granted, half as strong as the Master Rune, but it's not a Master Rune, it's just a basic rune. Dazed Contact Effect, and then one more time, the Missile Resistance Rune. Probably gonna pop those on the Engineers on Gyrocopters. Alright. There's obviously, we obviously have way more heroes, each with 3 rune slots than we do runes, so we're gonna prioritize lords and then those heroes that are generally likely to actually make use of the various runes, since we can't get additional copies. Still have a bit in the way of Oath Gold, but we can't get the legendary items. I mean, we can get some, but they're 1,000 Oath Gold each, so just to get all the legendary items, we'll need, what, 8,000 Oath Gold? Okay, well, I guess we'll need more Oath Gold buildings, won't we? Alright, and also, oh man. Can I dismiss all of these? Game, please? Please? Okay, there we go. Alright, Ungrim, hit Black Falls, please. Let's see what's over there. Where's that rat, by the way? There was a... Oh, there he is, Ronan. Yeah, that was the guy. What do we have here? A bunch of Skaven slaves and clan rats. Not worth our time, either. At least in terms of bothering to fight them directly. Oh, it'll kill off the Craven Slayers. That's so rude. Huh. Maybe because they're already damaged? Alright, I guess we'll be fighting this. We might be just fighting it manually because it's kind of meh. But anyway, we'll deal with that in a second. Ooh, technology, yes. Alrighty, so we don't need the Way of the Clans yet. I was thinking about getting a mastercrafted weapons for all of our lords and heroes, which is pretty nice. The other options are... We do want to go through Volatile Volley to get the reload time reduction. I mean, we've been using those Iron Drakes a lot, and it does feel like a good use of our points. And same with the Masterwork Crossbows. Now that we're leaning a little bit heavier into the ranged units, there is also the money-making build, the money-making techs, but they don't really matter at this point. And the Hiking Decrees do. I also do like the Seal Stones because we're going with the Skaven Mines everywhere, and the Skaven Mines give us that corruption, at least a little bit. What does this do? Oh, this gives us rune capacity. Runesmith capacity. Yeah, you know what? I think we'll do Seal Stones, and then we'll move through the various range buffs. And then we'll obviously go through the melee buffs, including the Slayer buffs, which would probably help them all in not getting obliterated by the auto-resolve in terms of buffing up their stats. Anyway, Ungrim, sit there for a bit. Actually, wait, Ungrim. You got 2 points available to you. We got Unliving Antagonists, so that was the main thing. We're not fighting Chaos Norska Demons or Greenskins with you at the time. I guess we'll want to keep moving through the red line in order to get the buffs for the higher level units, essentially. Alright, as for what buffs we can get, I guess the Goblin Hero buffs out of Tactician. We're not going to put any Goblin Heroes in this army, but frankly, we're not going to put anything in this army, and... other than what we have, and Grimnir's Heirs also buffs the unit of Everguard, so that doesn't help us either. I mean, it's extremely unlikely, but we might put a Thunderbarge in it in the army, but probably not. Let's just go Tactician, just for the principle of the thing, in the sense that, we could, possibly, potentially, have Goblin Heroes in here. Anyway, Scarred but not dead for you, sir. And go up to 15% physical resistance. What do you have, Runesmith? Let's keep moving through We Are the Elite for when these guys are rank 7. Might warrant another runesmith in this army. We'll see what kind of space we have after this is done, because I don't remember how many... Let's see, these two will become giant slayers, and then I wanted two... we'll have exactly room for one, so either a runesmith or a thunder barge. Alright, I'll think about it. Anyway, let us also level up Mr. Garagrim, who's finally there to buff up a slayer army. Yeah, all that weapon strength. Oh, and I just realized, these guys still hit less hard than Malachai's Slayer Pirates, despite the fact that they have both Ungrim and Garagrim buffing them. That's kind of interesting. Go figure. Malachai's just that good. Alrighty, anyway, let's get back to getting you your points up and running. We should probably go through Deadly Shield, although funnily enough now, you have more melee defense than you have melee attack. But you know what? That's pretty solid. For once, Garagrim won't die, as in the lore. Anyway, 85 melee defense, 80 armor. Pretty solid on a Slayer hero. And we gave him the Seed of Rebirth, so he regenerates slightly as well. You, random Dragon Slayer, who's in this army, trying to keep up with the big boys, I guess. I guess you can go through Big Game Slayer just to buff yourself up a little bit. We don't really need Vanquish Chaos, as it doesn't really help us in this particular situation. Alrighty. And I assume that this still won't be able to... Yeah, okay, fine, game, fine. We'll deal with that in a second. Ulfar Norgrimling, we moved you, or no, we started moving you, and then Ungrim stopped you. Okay, so go this way now. Alright, Snorri Morgrimmel, you are delivering these to Ungrim. And frankly, you're drawing quite close, so keep doing so. Ooh, also this guy, you're still recruiting, ain't ya? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so let's get 1, 2, 3. 3 more of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus Norgrimling's Ironbreakers, and then, yeah, this is the Explosion Army, and then, of course, we'll need Imperial Explosives as well. As for which Imperial Explosives, that is going to be... Okay, wait, not out of Vissenland and Null. Ooh, although, wait, we just completed some missions. Ally missions. Mercy Horseman, Aragak, Urlaber... Little Norscan tribe running around. Wait, or is this a Kislevite faction? I think it's a Kislevite faction. No, it's a Norscan faction. Anyway, let's go after this guy, because we're just gonna make sure to knock these greenskins out. Let's also double check our outpost thing. And, aha. Alright, kid. Our army available... Huh. It doesn't just indicate which ones... Okay, fine. I would have preferred some indication as to which outposts need to be constructed, or can be constructed, or maybe I'm just misinterpreting how the AI works. This is outpost available, it's not outpost ready for upgrade. Either way. We should also probably military ally with the Jade Court if we can, which we should do so right now, and then build up their outpost. Frankly, I wouldn't mind allying with the Lethanar. We have no reason not to, because we have no grudges against him. He's all the way out on Albion, where, frankly, the elves can stay. I wonder if he has access to Lothern Skycutters, which was the main thing that we might have wanted from the elves. Oh, they're not... Wow, minus 117. He doesn't like us very much. Minus 50 aversion. Alright, fair enough. We got way more aversion for you, sir. No Lothern Skycutters from you today. Anyway, what I was wanting to do was to check out what we've got in terms of the... in terms of the war wagons from Vissenland and Nuln. We have the ability to get one mortar war wagon. I guess we'll get one, and then we'll get another one after. Oh, huh. The mortar war wagons are significantly slower than the regular war wagons. And I do really love the regular war wagons in SFO. I actually have to stop myself from spamming them because they're really good units. But this is probably still something that we should invest in, just for variety's sake. Alrighty, and then... I wanted to see whether we had another Imperial army that we could get the Outriders with explosives. It's gonna be a while until we recover all this from Reichland, but oh well. Sigmarsheim, how are we doing? 22. Getting there. Huh. We need to declare war probably on a... Oh, I just realized that we completed the Confederation as well, so we can confederate another little dwarfen faction. We'll have to check Karak-Azorn. Anyway, you can just keep recruiting for now then. Let's keep doing things in order. Grimly, you, sir, are going to go after Vidarheim. And just keep taking territories from these guys. And, you're not able to auto-resolve this either, eh? That's a grand shame, unless... Wait. I'm just gonna build these in case I forget to do this, but, unless point applications will allow you... Nah, that's not gonna change anything. Alright, fine, fair enough. Hack and slash will at least buff up the dwarf melee infantry units. Anything else would be helpful here for possible auto-resolve changes? So you have all the buffs for the actual units in your army, so that's not going to help. I guess we can go through Rune of Grimnir first and then grab Obstinacy as well. Frankly, Obstinacy is the better thing, but I also like the Lord to actually be able to, you know, reposition himself through his own army, rather than being stuck there. You should get We Are the Elite, and max out Spoils just because. Don't really care for a hero beyond 1 point in it. You, sir, Runesmith. Oh, right, you guys have the Rune of Fear in this army. Yeah, fair enough. Well, let's get We Are the Elite for you. Max out Sharpened Weapons. And we have the passive runes, which are pretty good. Might as well move towards Strike the Runes, but I guess only after we go through Rune Masters. So, how about that? Does that change the auto-resolve? Hey, it does. Fantastic. Alrighty, that's what I was hoping from Ungrim, but it didn't happen, so we're just gonna... There we go. Lovely. Damage to us, certainly, but hopefully not a big deal, and hey, not even a crash. I should stop talking about it because the game's gonna, you know, make it crash. I won't be able to auto-resolve the next one, but we can take the turn to heal. Not a big deal either. We should, however, build this place up because I think it will be advantageous to do so when we inevitably trade it all to Mr. Boris. Anyway, that was Grimly. We're on Hammerfist now. Grumbrindle. Now you, yes. Okay, you have a quest battle to fight, sir. And then, okay, that's gonna make me forget the Confederation thing. Let's Confederate first, and then we'll do... Let's see what we got here. Karak minus 0.5. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Now, these are the ones we want the most. Chain of Jar also have 4 territories, but these guys are strength rank 45. Ziflin has... Oh, wow, what the heck is going on here? Ziflin's kind of in trouble, wait. Okay, I would like Ziflin to not be dead. Mostly because I don't want them to lose their Grudge Settler units. Ooh, you got some. You don't have any. You don't have any. You got 3 here, though. Including some good ones. Your army, however, there's no way that you can take on Lord Skrolk's force. So the only thing that you might be able to do is get around it. Although, on the other hand... you know what? I guess we're gonna take Ziflin. Alright, fair enough. Bretonia needs help anyway, might as well establish some territories here. It's gonna irk me that we don't have all the mountains like this in like a line. But... I really don't see the Bordlow Errant trading us Castle Drakenfels, especially because it's a tier 5, or it's gonna be a tier 5, so it's just not gonna happen. Plus we also have the territories going through the mountains. Anyway, Ziflin, I guess you're up. We'll do Azorn rather, next time. Propose offer. And then we'll obviously counteract the negative public order with that quest battle, at least one quest battle, and then another afterwards. We do have, I believe, 3 more to do. Crooked Corridor secured. Let's see, ally loses outpost, and you are immediately going to go into, I guess, High King's Tribute. We will keep the buildings as they are for now, simply because these guys are liable to attack. You've been punted out of the settlement, and we're going to get rid of the items on you, because in case all of you guys die, we'll want to, you know, not waste the items. You have nothing. You have... Gatekeeper... Whoa, what was that? Gatekeeper's Ratcatcher. Okay, I'm going to take a look at that later. I didn't see what it did, but I saw that it did stuff. What are you? Akarini. Kinda meh. Wonder if we should just transfer all of your stuff here. These guys can't move towards you, can they? I don't believe they can. They'd have to go around and you... Oh, it took your movement, didn't it? Huh. I saw that you could move here. You know what? Move just slightly away from the river. I want to see if these guys can intercept you, if they try, because we can definitely do a one-on-one with Skrolk's army, so why not try a little interception? Go here. No interception. Alright, fair enough. Try to survive, sir. Do you have any items that we care for? Probably not. You know what, once again, we're going to invest in trying to keep you alive, so let's just keep these guys with their items, then delete them later. Anything here needs to be swapped out or changed? I mean, we could change you to a dwarf warrior at least. Not that the miners wouldn't be useful, but you have nothing to hold the line, really, so it's all we got. Go for dwarf warrior. It'd be a little bit better. Way too much in the way of artillery here, and not the type of artillery that would be super helpful against massive hordes of rats. Alright, and I guess we'll find out whether these rats can reach you. They definitely can in March stance, but whether they can in whatever other stance, we shall see. You, transfer all these guys to Mr. Halkenhalf. He's a higher level, even though he doesn't have runes. I believe he has a rune smith with him anyway, so it doesn't matter. Alright, do that, and then delete yourself, sir. Alright, good. I wonder if we should recruit some stuff here. Oh! 2 turns? How dare you? That's tremendously rude. We have a few Thunderers with Drake guns here, some regular Thunderers. I can get some more of the Thunderers with Grudge Rakers in here. Yeah, let's get some Thunderers with Grudge Rakers in here. Act as a melee line. And plus we'll have... Wait, do we have any in here? We do. Well, whatever. Whatever. It's just get anything we can, essentially. So that the settlement or these guys can essentially defend themselves. Anyway, time for quest battle. Gromby, you are going to go as close to Icicle Pass as you can. And I guess we're going to head down to Karaz-a-Karak and ignore this Norscan tribe for now. We'll just attack them afterwards. So go here. And then Dimzad Blackbeard. We're going to have you in a second. Yeah, nobody here. Alright, we're going to have you transfer to Gromby these guys. I just want them in, rather than, you know, it does take a while to level up, especially in the late game, and we do have the infrastructure to actually build these guys. And we've been using the Longbeards and the Dwarf Warriors in that army for a while now, so yeah. Anyway, let's do that. And, ooh, rank 9. Oh, I should have upgraded you to the Thunder Barge before this. But now, if we upgrade it right now, I think it'll lose all of its HP, so I think we'll do it after the battle. You can level up, though. You got 2 points. Not much, admittedly, but we can get Dowie Firepower. That's a significant increase because these guys are all level 7, and I guess we'll want Honored by Grimnir, right? Or the Ironbreakers. Although only one of them will take benefit from this. You know what? Stand Your Ground will probably be the better pick for this one turn, or for this one fight. You have Retinue Valet, you have We Are the Elite, and the rest of that doesn't matter as much. You have the passive runes. Let's get the Rune Master for you now. Beautiful. What about the Thane? What are you looking for? Max out We Are the Elite. Alright, good. And then the 2 Engineers. We are the Elite, we have... Well, you know what, let's max out Increased Mobility. That's gonna bother me if we don't have it maxed out. Let's get Requisition. And then you can do the same thing. Oh, you don't have... Okay, fine, fair enough. Just go through Increased Mobility then. Alright, there we go. Now, time to do that quest fight. It was supposed to be done the episode before last, and then we've been too busy. There have been a lot of good fights. Anyway, this is you. Let's give this a read. Shouldn't be too difficult. Several dwarf holds fall under attack from a particularly belligerent Wa, and the Dowie feel hard pressed. The White Dwarf appears at the forefront of such struggles as he has done throughout history. His rune helm, forged in the glorious forges of Zufbar, still deserves a landmark, glows, replenishing lost dwarfen courage, a commodity that is rarely lacking in the first place, of course. With the help of none other than Gotrek Gurnison, the Wa finds itself isolated by Grimbrindle's throng, unable to sustain itself. Grimbrindle lures the beleaguered orcs to a battlefield of his choosing, using a simple bait-and-switch maneuver with volunteers from Karak-Azul. And so it is that the rune helm will glow bright once more, instilling dwarfs with heart and courage at Thundering Falls. Teleport. Teleport. Oh no. Oh, don't tell me you crash. Okay, okay, that's making me paranoid. Quick save a frickin' game. Alright. And we got reinforcements. I don't see Gotrek himself. I see Karak-Azul, I guess, but they're technically part of our faction now. Anyway, we'll see what the reinforcements are, but either way, should be a fun fight. The forces of Karaz-a-Karak are already in the midst of fighting when Grimbrindle's throng deploys. It was a dangerous task, but one the proud dwarfs of that hold willingly volunteered for. However, now the white dwarf must come to their aid or risk dishonor.
At last, we have lured the orcs to the place we dowie fight best, in Grungi's realm. I see beside me brave dwarfen hearts. Such courage will imbue my rune helm. This is the day to strike many grudges from the great book. For I am the white dwarf, and only worthy folk appear in my pages. So, let us record great deeds this day, and give these Urki scum a right royal hammering! Hearts, this is the day to strike many grudges from the great book. So, let us record great...
Alrighty, here we go. Looks like a pretty fun fight awaits us here with Mr. Grimbrindle and the forces of Karaz-a-Karak as well. We have only one Vanguard deployable unit in our army, and it is the Skolder Guard, so we did Vanguard deploy them to try to help the Karaz-a-Karak forces out. As to whether that'll be sufficient, I guess remains to be seen. I suppose at the end of the day we got our gyrocopters, which should be able to close the distance rather quickly. I'm actually rather surprised that Grimbrindle doesn't have Vanguard deployment, as he seems to me like a Vanguard deployee kind of guy. The rest of our army started over on this side of the map, and immediately, as soon as the battle starts, 4 units of squig herds appear right behind us. So while we were starting to move towards Karaz-a-Karak, we had to immediately turn and deal with the piles of squigs. Fortunately, I don't see them easily getting through piles of iron breakers and iron drakes as well. Iron Drakes, of course, firing through the gaps in our lines to burnate all those squigs and bring them down rather quick, and then, of course, the Troll Hammer torpedoes obliterating them. And it's an absolutely beautiful sight. But I do feel bad for the little squiggies, and can't wait to do a greenskin campaign with a proper squig focus. Anyway, as soon as those guys go down, more enemies arrive on field, and this time a little bit heftier, so it looks like the battle isn't going to be all that easy, especially since our armies are not in the same place. All the Air Force is supporting Karaz-a-Karak and hopefully preventing them from, being destroyed. Grimbrindle has arrived here as well, so he's not supporting the main stack. Out here we got 2 Arachnaroks, we got a giant, we got 4 trolls, I believe, and 4 more units of squig herds. I'm glad that these guys didn't appear at the same time as the squig herds that hit the back of our line. Anyway, fortunately, unlike the giants, the Ragnarok spiders are pretty darn susceptible to torpedo fire. The first one gets absolutely destroyed by the focus fire, and while the squig herds in the second one moves on in, we've still got the iron breakers to hold them off. And here comes a little bit more help as the gyrocopters have moved from the Karaz-a-Karak forces and start to obliterating the big old targets here. Trolls, giant, all also having a particularly bad time here, and I guess this is the perfect sort of battle to for the type of army composition that Grimbrindle has. Looks like the Skolder Guard, the Air Force, and Grimbrindle were sufficient to make sure that Karaz-a-Karak won their portion of the battle, plus our gyro bomber was sort of traveling along the enemy's main line and had bombed 533 greenskins by itself, which is pretty darn great use of it. I think after this battle it certainly earned its upgrade to become a thunder barge, or the crew promoted to command a barge, or crew a barge, whatever, you know what I mean. Anyway, with that, it looks like the battle is done. A really quick one, only a minute or so long, but a pretty darn fun one, as the sort of bum rush of the enemies all around us could have ended badly. A lovely little quest battle. All right, there we go. Very, very fun fight. I was a little bit worried when we were only presented with these units, but the immediate arrival of the Squig Herd and then followed up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Trolls, a Giant, 2 Ragnaroks, and 4 more Squig Herds, and our army being separated, and for a pretty darn fun fight, and certainly some damage to a bunch of the Iron Breakers. The Grand Sappers took the most damage, but at the same time also did the most damage. All right, and yes, we can. I guess there's actually no need to heal up because we're in our own territory and we can't move any further. So execute and loot. Fun fight in the Ruined Helm of Zufbar is ours, man. All our legendary lords are unable to use potions of healing. All right, gyrocopter for Gomrand Gilded Stone. Who is you? You is this guy. Wait, no, you was this guy. I don't know whether you're going to stay on that gyrocopter, but, you know, being able to reposition easier isn't a bad thing anyway. Yeah, stay on the gyrocopter. There's the Rune Helm of Zufbar, which is kind of meh as an item, as I said last episode, but the set bonus does, I believe, provide us that +1 control faction-wide, which is always nice, especially as we keep confederating. You, join this army while you're here. And then we'll move to Karaz-a-Karak afterwards. And we'll obviously also change the way... Oh, we took this a tier... oh well. I was hoping to tier 5 it, but it's all good. I'm sure we'll have other tier 5s. Anyway, let's get back to doing things in order. Did I pick up Grimbrindle out of order? No. He's okay. You can go to the edge of our territory so that you so that you can make sure that you can heal up. And travel as far as you can down to Karaz-a-Karak. It's about time that we claim it. And then... Malachi, if you could move like this, maybe you can start attacking the... Norskins. Yeah, what I'd essentially like to do is this. Have Malachi start traveling like this, while Gromby and Grimly take out this territory, then Grimly turns back around, starts moving in this direction, while Grumbrindle claims and starts fighting in the Hell Pit to, well, obviously claim all of that, while Malachi takes his path all the way to... where was it? Was it here? Bits of Uzkalak, somewhere around here. The territory that Carrick Doom, the territory that he is supposed to start at and has failed to keep. Anyway, rearguard, don't need to move. Finn Arcand Raskelson, you do. Oh, you were next anyway. Yeah, go figure. Alright, you move to Carrick Asgal. Like so, and Grimaz Drak is reasonably well defended, but I think you've certainly found your own pace at this point. Somebody also suggested that we try to get a few more slowdown units in this army. The only thing I can think of is to replace a cannon or possibly 2 cannons with the with Imperial guns, specifically Outriders, that will cause slowdowns. Unless there's an artillery piece that has a slowdown as well. I wonder, does SFO give little Groms monstrous impact? Because I feel like they could use something like that. Nope, no, it does nothing, artillery-wise. Imperial artillery, wait, now let's take a look at Vissenland. Imperial artillery, do you do anything? No application, no application. Hailstorm rocket batteries have the take cover trait, but it looks like nothing. Yeah, so it's only the Outriders that have suppression, which is what I wanted. 40% speed reduction on that, it's beautiful. But those guys are gonna go into our own slowdown army. I wonder if the Cathans have something. Are they build... Oh, you finally unlocked the ability to build drums. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, one's going to... Can you do anything? 275 range. Huh. Okay, yeah, there's probably no reason to get crane gunners. At this point, our Thunderers are starting to outrange. And I guess with the buffs, with the Lord buffs, these guys would still outrange them slightly. But I'd wager the Thunderers actually now... with the buffs that they have, are probably more effective. Oh, right, the dragon gas ones. The dragon... Oh, if we're actually able to build them. We might not be. Oh, maybe you can't build SFO units. As in, you can... Maybe it's hard-coded to only use vanilla units from outposts, because I don't see the... dragon tear gas thing. Dragon Breakers, that's the name of the unit. Still, now that we've unlocked Sky Lanterns and War Drums, that's going to come in real handy. I like it. Finally, some use out of these guys. We'll build those in a bit as, well, we figure out where we want to put them. Gromby, you... Okay, wait, no. That was Finn that moved last. So, Thorak, your turn, sir. Assuming that we don't keep Gragamugar camp, and I'm pretty sure that we do not, you can move into Grungut's Monolith and then head to the Trails of Hashutun. Well, I'm sure that we would love to have the Whale Well. I'm not so sure that I want to bother with keeping the territory here. I'm perfectly happy with keeping the mountains and letting the, you know, I mean, it's red territory. It's just such a hassle. And we have enough to be getting on with. Anyway, a rearguard Thorek, you, Gautry, hold fast. Guess what you're doing? You're holding fast. Brugard, Malachi, oh, actually, Brugard. I need you to have an engineer. We have an innovator, which doesn't really help in this army. Huh. It does actually apply to... Oh, it only applies to you. I was hoping that it would apply to other engineers, assuming that we get an engineer into this army. Wayfarer isn't particularly helpful because it's for tech thieving. Although, what's our capacity at this point? Yeah, 26. Huh, we could potentially get another tech thief up and running. We still need to thief a bunch of tech. I guess we do want proximity, though. Although, actually, wait. Nah, research point surplus has reached a pretty good state. We might not need another tech thief, so we can just hold off on that. Anyway, you keep building your war wagon. It's going to take 2 turns to build that one, so you can't move for now anyway. Anyway, let's get back to doing that in order. If I can find whoever was next. Callan Heldauer... Wait, were you the one that was next? Yes, I'm just going to assume so. We already moved you. Yeah, see, that's what happens. I moved you out of order, and now... Alright, Callan Heldauer, yeah, we'll leave you alone for now. Elmador Red Axe, okay, you guys are gonna have to fight here.
Will answer for this insult.
So Oswald Jaeger basically has nothing in his army. This army has Isabella, but is otherwise inferior. We got Vlad and Griswold together as one army. I'm willing to bet that they'll be willing to fight King Azrael, because they are in range of each other. If we make Mr. Gautry Holdfast not Holdfast, I wonder if we can auto-resolve the Oswald Jaeger army, because there doesn't feel like there's a need to actually fight it, as it's an inferior army. Oh, you got the Talisman of Preservation? You actually don't need that, but anyway. Can you two auto-resolve this? Because King Azrael could move on his own. And it looks like you can. Okay, so we'll quick save this, as we'll get a little bit more XP on the Slayer Pirates. I do want to build that Fire Slayer army, which is going to be a pretty neat one, I think. Auto-resolve. Nice, and barely any damage, which is hardly surprising. And... you know what, heal up... Ah, it's a 70 oath gold. Now I'll take the oath gold. Fine. And a ally mission successful with Imperials. That's great. Brock Clanbreaker, you just got a thing. And what are you, by the way? You're an innovator. I see why we kept you. Alright. Anvil of Doom, Gautry Holdfast. Good for Gautry Holdfast. Azrael, I'm going to assume that these guys will be willing to fight, and I guess I want to go directly for Vlad. I'm just going to hope that they don't run. So, let's level you up, then let's hop on into the fight. You have Thunderers, Grimneers, Airs, and Fire and Fury is what you need, or Dowie Firepower. Wait. Yeah, this buffs the Thunderers. This buffs the Grimneer's Heirs. Morgrim's Favored buffs the Flame Cannons, and I don't think we need Blessed by Grugne. We still lack the Thunderer trait, which would buff these guys. Lords in Waiting gives us physical resistance for units we don't have in this army, so that's hardly relevant, so I guess we'll go through Thunderer then. I could also get your Rune of Grimnir, but it's probably not the most... it doesn't matter. I'd rather buff the Drake guns here. We are going to keep them in this army because I think using Iron Drakes together with the Gromrel Worm and the other Flame Cannons will make the army too powerful. Plus, these guys cause a little bit of that slowdown reduction. 25%, not to the level of the Imperial Suppression, mind you, but still pretty solid. Anyway, Thanes. Esteemed Combatant, and let's get points into We Are the Elite. And then another thing, you can do the same thing, Esteemed Combatant, and max out We Are the Elite. Beautiful. Alright, obviously these guys aren't elite yet, but they'll get there, eventually. Rune of Hearth and Home, Wardbreaker, and max out Hardened Armor. You can also, I mean, I guess get Renowned. You know what, get Damping, because the enemy wins and magic reduction might be fairly useful against the Vamps. Let's be real here. Flash Bomb, Break Open the Casks, Triangulation, Deadeye, Ballistics, Calibration. You guys always get the same things. And let's get 1 point in a Requisition to get at least 1 point in Zufbar 42 Pounders. That looks good to me. Let's see if these guys run, or will they fight? They will fight. Close victory, medium casualties, lots and lots of chaff, but we've also got some Imperial units in the form of the Sylvanian crossbows, and of course Vlad himself, who's pretty statted up. Alright, let's see how King Azrael fares in 1v1ing Vlad, if we can manage to pull it off. They're both small units, and it's kind of hard to reposition. Should be fun. Come on. Please, go. Alrighty, here we go. Gazul may abhor the undead, but King Azrael's axe, or a hammer, rather, that should have been obvious. King Azrael's hammer still glows brightly with his runes, and I'm excited to see him obliterate some undead here. The guy's got plenty of experience doing so. Anyway, our army is going to be able to, by the looks of it, attack Vlad's main stack before the arrival of the second stack, and we're certainly going to try to take advantage. Azrael will lead his personal Everguard with great hammers forward, while the rest of our hammerers protect our main line, which will begin firing away at the enemy. Certainly we have to bring down those units of Sylvanian crossbows. They are not to be underestimated with the amount of anti-large damage on that, on those crossbows. For those that remember the Manfred campaign, which is still pretty darn recent, we got an insane amount of value out of these guys. They were doing crazy amounts of damage, bringing monstrous units down like nobody's business. So yeah, definitely can't have those killing off our frostworms. And speaking of frostworms, once again, we will have one of the frostworms move together with King Azrael and his hammer guard. Azrael will head directly towards Vlad, by the looks of it, dishing out the first blow, while the hammerers hold off the zombies, and so does the frostworm. And hopefully that will allow Vlad and Azrael to duel in the midst of all this, which is absolutely the plan. I'm not going to have the other units target Vlad. Vlad has already lost about half of his HP, while Azrael is completely fine so far. He has activated both the Silver Horn of Vengeance and Stand Your Ground to counteract the Helm of Discord that Vlad has popped, which, well, by and large, does counteract it. Now, Vlad may look like he's insanely badly damaged here, having immediately lost half of his HP, but you gotta remember that Vlad is one of the sort of tankiest lords. He's extremely hard to bring down, and he can go from basically no HP to full HP extremely quickly. Anyway, it looks like these zombies are moving in. We have, by and large, burninated the enemy range units, and down goes the Vargulf under fire from the Drake guns, as well as the flame cannons. Got a nice little formation we got here, with King Azrael being the tip of the spear, essentially, rather than a sort of straight line. We have the Thunderers in two little, or the Drake guns, rather, in... well, this type of formation, I don't know what to call it. Firing away at both flanks, especially since the enemy can't essentially charge our center line. Our flame cannons are safe and will be turning towards the second enemy army as they move on in. But in the meantime, the work continues. Hammer is still obliterating those zombies, but that's hardly surprising. Even the Graveguard would stand no chance against them. Vlad is in a pretty bad way, still down to about 20% of his HP against Azrael. And the duel continues. Though the frostworm is... there we go. It was in the way a little bit. Alright, and Vlad has just gone from, 10% HP down to about 40% again. Once again, he has got so many sources of healing that it's difficult to just bring him down. Our main line, however, is doing pretty good. It looks like the enemy is concentrated over on the right flank, and there are plenty of zombies there between the frostworm and all the hammerers. We should be okay. Plus, the Frostworms have a mini Mortis engine effect in SFO and have a little bit in the way of the melee damage reflection, so that's pretty good. It looks like at last Azrael brings Vlad down, who falls. It did take a while. But it looks like he is pretty okay. Still, he only lost about 30% of his HP, and he does have a healing potion to counteract that. Later on, I suppose we won't need too many of those healing potions if we replace them all with those Iron Warden tankards, but we gotta get there first. Anyway, I'm gonna start moving towards the second enemy army now. Of course, the units on the approach are gonna have a bad time as they get burninated, and those elements of the enemy armies, or the Vlad's main stack, that are still in the fight, are getting torn apart by the Drake guns and the hammerers. There we go. Could use a little bit of fire resistance on these guys, but I suppose the frost fire alone is just so worth it. It's a 30% weakness to fire plus flammable, another 25%. Fantastic. Alrighty, and the flame cannons, by the looks of it, are doing pretty darn well as well. Those skeletons are not going to have any kind of chance, and of course the undead don't like the fire, and they are pretty darn slow on the approach. I do love the way that the flame cannons also light up the darkness, as it is a dark map here. Otherwise, we have summoned the unit of ancestral shield bearers to work together with the main hammerers as well as the frostworm, while King Azrael moves towards the second enemy, von Karstein, a vampire lord. And a second duel for him. Balance of power is at about 90% in our favor right now, maybe 85%. And it looks like we found the enemy lord, who immediately loses about 20% of his HP. And they begins the duel. And oh right, the armor destruction that Azrael has means that this guy's down by 30 armor, which is pretty solid. There we go, another hit, and these guys can continue to duel while we continue obliterating the rest of the enemy army. More frostworms moving into towards the front line and fighting together with the hammerers. I gotta say, I think this army composition turned out real fun. Decent mix of melee and range damage. Anyway, looks like, oh, the enemy lord is once again been defeated by Azrael. He's got 3 kills. Vlad, that lord, and then I guess some random skeleton or something. And by the looks of it, with the fall of the Lord, the enemy army begins to shatter. The balance of power is fully in our favor now, and it's only a matter of time until the last of the undead on field disintegrate. Alrighty, and the last units are in the midst of all this, just getting torn apart by the melee units. I stopped all the range units from firing because at this point they would have been a liability and more likely to kill off a bunch of our own units than the enemy was. Heroic victory and a very nice fight for Frostfire. I wonder which, oh man, we got the gunnery army is really fun, the axe storm army is really fun, the frostfire army is pretty darn fun as well. Got some great compositions in this particular campaign. Alrighty, there we go, an absolutely beautiful fight, and I'm really digging this army. It's certainly working, and love to see King Azrael defeat Vlad in a one-on-one, and then follow it up by defeating his vampire thrall, while his personal guard punched through the droves of skeletons and zombies, racking up 468 kills and 65,000 damage, and his frostworms doing pretty well as well. Frostfire, very, very nice. And I think it was the right decision to just use the flame cannons, which killed off droves of skeletons and zombies, but did not essentially win the battle at a distance without us having the ability to move the melee troops in, like might happen with Joseph of Zorn's army with all those Iron Drakes. Very, very nice. Too bad we can't heal the Frostworms single entities with the tracked replacements, but we got 202 oath gold, so I would have taken that anyway. Alright, the remnants of Vlad's force with the remnants of Vlad himself will back off. And they moved in separate direction, as I assume we can't cross the river. Oh, we can just barely cross the river. Oh, you get hit points for defeating Vlad now? That ain't bad. That ain't bad. Anyway, Crown of Command and Guildmaster. Always nice to have more Guildmasters. Now, we still have this little army, Burned von Karstein, and there's another one hanging around. Also, Tech Thief, before I forget. Move all the way to Schrammleben. Gotta start trading these territories so we don't have to hold ground here in Sylvania. Man, Sylvania has certainly expanded into Stirland, into Averland. Yeah, these guys are definitely hard pressed as in our Imperial allies. But we're gonna fix all their problems for them. I mean, they're, you know, too incompetent to do so themselves. We've seen that demonstrated firsthand when we fought with them as allies, and oh, that was embarrassing. It's moving in front of our flamethrowers. I'm never gonna let the Imperials live that one down. Now you're gonna back off. Interesting. We can not quite move towards you. This guy's gonna move in. Well, actually, we could if we march stance, but there's a decent pile of enemies here, and it would probably warrant an actual fight, and we don't have enough flame units to make it an easy one. So if we were to fight this, the big issue would be that then this guy would be able to attack us, but I think that's one of the only armies here. Man, these guys do have a lot of armies, but yeah. Anyway, somebody in the previous episode asked me to take a look at the strength ranks of nearby factions. So the Slaneshi factions are kind of... Oh wow, Exiles of Nehek. Huh, go figure. Alright, so it was a good idea to declare war on them. They're pretty strong at strength rank 11. And Mahrok, who we are liable to declare war on eventually as well, simply because they're occupying mountain territories, are pretty strong. Slanesh is a weird little thing going on where they seem to keep summoning those, I don't know, cult armies or something, and it makes them really strong. Urson Revivalists are strong by virtue of us. There's another Slaneshi faction. Great Orthodoxy kind of in a similar position, strong by virtue of us helping them out. Barrow Legion, pretty up there at strength rank 20, and I believe Sylvania was very close to the top before we took out several of their armies, which is punted them down below the Barrow Legion now, so, well, sucks to be them. Yeah, Kemmler still has a lot of armies hanging around, and this would be fun for the Fireslayer army to deal with. Anyway, I just saw that we gotta do an ally mission. Ooh, Kairos! Where are you, sir? You're hanging around in Dolganyar Forest, eh? I don't know if he's gonna try to loop around like this. The Orc is worth more, though, so I think we'll take the Orc. Also, we are at 100% Great Orthodoxy Allegiance, meaning we should probably make some use of it. Alrighty, so you. Oh, this is going to be out of order, but it is what it is. You're going to move into another Golgi monument, and you're going to auto-resolve it. Still a relatively minor pile of enemies. What I wanted to do with this army was give them some bear cav. Yeah, Trickster's Helm, nice find. Alright, and Occupy and Perfect Vigor and Campaign Move and Train. Southern Mountains of Morn secured. I don't know whether you're going to keep the Trickster's Helm. I guess you can hold on to the other Trickster Shard for now, though I feel like you should probably put that on like a Thane or something, while you yourself perhaps use a Potion of Healing instead on that anvil. Big old target, after all. Anyway. What did I want to do? Oh, right. So, if we take a look at the Great Orthodoxy, oh, that's disappointing. You don't have access to Bear Cav. Huh. I do have the Light War Sleds, which are good, but I was going to put them into a more Thunderer-centric army than this one. The reason I wanted Bear Cav was with the Venerate Smednir, we'd be able to give them magical damage as well. Granted, at the loss of some melee attack, but they have pretty high melee attack anyway. Griffin Legion have a lot more melee defense than attack. We could wait for Bear Cav. We could do the things in the woods. I just don't think they fit very well in with the dwarf armies. Streltsy don't really do anything for us. Our Thunderers are vastly superior, more than twice their range. Ice Guard are nice, but yeah, this guy really doesn't have access to a lot of the stuff we want. We could do some Snow Leopards, but I don't think they offer too much in terms of what we'd want them for. The Cav would at least make an army that plays very differently, and man, the Griffin Legion alone is worth 72. We can lower that by declaring war on these greenskins and then immediately trading the territory away. The problem is this: as soon as we do so, Malachi won't be able to leave, and we really want him to travel elsewhere. On the other hand, it's not like these guys are that strong. Maybe it would be a good idea to do so. Alright, fine. Orthodoxy, let's make your units cheaper. Maybe we'll do a couple of Griffin Legion. I do like the Griffin Legion. Ugh, but then their melee attack will be so low. I suppose if it doesn't work, then we can transfer them to another army. Anyway, we will join your war against the Bone Rattlers. For money. Actually, no, you know what? Don't take their money. Okay. I gotta stop at some point. There we go. And by doing that, we should have sufficient proximity to have made a lot of their units cheaper, yes? So it was worth 72 for one Griffin Legion unit. Now it is worth... 51. Better. Not amazing, better. -5 melee attack. Ugh. I mean, maybe the light war sleds instead? They kind of serve a cavalry-like purpose, but then we'd have to go, I think, more Thunderer-y in this army than I was originally planning to do, but then maybe that's fine. Do you have Tactician? You have Thunderer available, and you have Axe Lord. Yeah, fine, let's do the light war sleds. The heavy war sleds are better, obviously, but these guys are at least very quick, so they'll be able to act as a little bit of mobile cav, and they're cheap, which is the other thing that's important here. Anyway, so what I want you to do is this. You will get at least one more of these units of Longbeards. Let's upgrade this army. I'm gonna turn it into a proper force. You guys are supposed to become Thunderers, but frankly it might be faster to just global recruit them rather than waiting. I mean, it's not like the expense matters at this point. Alright, get rid of the miners. Rank 5 versus rank 4. Yeah, okay, yeah, get rid of the miners. What do we have in terms of artillery available to us? Could do a little bit of a sort of various types of artillery. Alright, get rid of the Quarrelers. Replace them with Thunderers. Granted, we won't have the bonus range that we would in our Guildmaster armies, but that's fine, I guess. Light war sleds. I just don't want to waste the allegiance, and then we'll do the last light war sled when we're capable of doing so. Alright, you artillery pieces are not able to be upgraded, so we're better off just, deleting you and then replacing you with whatever it is that we desire in this army. We have one Iron Drake, which I think... This isn't going to be a flamethrower heavy army. Let's do Trollhammer Torps. Don't get me wrong, I like the Iron Drake. Well, then again, this army's going to have a little bit of a struggle in terms of killing droves of units, so maybe the one Iron Drake with Flamethrower will be fine. These two were set here to and eventually be upgraded to artillery pieces, but you know what, just go as Longbeards for now, and then if we should desire to delete you, we can do so later. For now, we'll get 2 more Thunderers. Like so. Maybe we should mix and match with some Grudge Rakers. Sort of closer to the line. You know what, let's do 3 and then 2, like so. And then these 2 will eventually be replaced by artillery pieces, but obviously we can't recruit them immediately. Oh, actually, we'll need to replace one more because we will want to replace or get another war sled and then probably a hero or 2. Anyway, we'll figure it out. It's fine for now, let's say. Alright, that army is getting ready to go. See how it functions with those war sleds. Frankly, now that I think about it, if we want to do a little bit of a harassing with the light war sleds, they would actually pair quite nicely with some gyrocopters, so I might make slight modifications. Anyway, the waste of money doesn't matter because, I mean, look. Anyway, who is up next? I started doing things out of order again, and that means we gotta figure out who's moving where. Alright, you 2 are potentially to attack this, especially if we hunt down Vlad. And I guess we'll want to bring down Castle Drakenhof, as that is a big portion of their money-making and their... yeah, they got some very nice garrison stuff as well. Now, I guess, okay, cross the river. I think we can't auto-resolve this, and the reason that we can't is because our Frostrums will get hurt, so we'll just fight this manually real quick, and then proceed. Also, what's our armor at? We've got hardened armor, Frostrums at 90... Huh, 100. Interesting. Okay, fight battle. Alright, this will bring Vlad down. Would have actually been nice to get his defeat trade on one of the other lords as well, but we're not going to waste the time to chase him down here. And I guess after bringing down Castle Drakenhof, if we can send Ungrim back up north after he's done dealing with that clan, whatever, we should probably then send King Hazrel finally to Silver Pinnacle. And the Silver Pinnacle is, it's got that unique landmark, which when you build it summons like 1 billion undead armies. It was probably the highlight of the Malachi campaign, because I wasn't expecting it. I didn't know it did that at the time. And there were so many, and they were super elite armies too. Barely able to hold them off with King Azrael, and that's what made him into a legend in his campaign. Or in that particular campaign. It was really fun. Anyway, let's just, okay, you know, it doesn't really matter how we deploy because, frankly, the enemy's not gonna be able to do anything anyway. Do that, Thanes, Engineers. We'll burninate the enemy from a distance. You might want to rush Vlad if you want. But if you can't, you can't. Alright, is that everybody? Who's left here? Alright, Thanes, yeah, go here, fine. Alright, start battle. And will the enemy start moving towards us? Guess you can move up slightly. Like so. And speed it up. Now Vlad's probably gonna heal himself, but whatever. And artillery, just get ready to burninate at max speed. Should be fine. Does he have any of his mortal units with him? I don't think so. Alright, you guys. Target... you know what? Target the Vargulf. Alright. Target the Vargulf at max speed, I should say. And, oh, it's actually going to dodge the fire. Ha! Funny. Alright, fine. Go for this. And you go for the Vargulf. Vlad will be dodging. Alright, well... You guys can kill the Vargulf just fine. You can ballistics calibrate, and well, you retarget. You target the Zombos, and actually you move here to go after Vlad. Can you slow him down? Oh, I don't actually want him reaching the line of units here. And you guys back off. Azrael, I would like you to get everybody's defenses up and running, and then all of you guys just burninate the big boy. Alright. And we've already defeated Vlad in a duel last battle, so we don't need to worry about anything else. Hey, would you guys actually fire upon him? What are you doing? Alright, I don't know. They really just don't want to. Alright, and the Vargulf is done for. Vlad is surrounded and will be killed in seconds. Oh, wow, don't do that. Okay, really? Really? You can't fire into our blobs of units? Okay, game. Sometimes they really want to kill off your own guys. Okay, let's speed this up by popping a rune of speed. And then maxing out the speed. There we go. Alright, and Vlad, maxing out his healing. Oh, I was gonna pop the healing potion on Azrael. Didn't quite manage to do it. Too bad we have no way of healing the Frostrums. That would have been nice. Huh. If we had a Wood Elf ally, we would be able to get a Zote. Couple of Zotes in here, but then again, Wood Elf allies. Bothers me almost as much as the as getting regular Elven allies. 3 losses, 3 kills to Vlad. At least he got something. Yeah, I wonder if we're in attrition-y territory, though. Might have been a mistake to not allow the Frostrums to heal up. No, at least Vlad is down, and oh, actually, Vlad will not be down. He'll just be back next turn, right? He's got that thing where he revives pretty much instantly. Ooh, watch him revive in one of the other armies and attack in another location. That might be a good move from him. Anyway, we will take, you know, the slight amount of healing because there's a decent likelihood we have attrition here. This doesn't allow us to heal, does it? Nah, we'd have to be in camp stance. Oh well, not a big deal. We don't actually need to raid. I guess you can't reach Lichburg, just start moving towards Castle Drakenhof. Alright, now you guys, you're probably going to fight this, because if Vlad revives, I'd rather him not be at the head of 2 armies, and together with Isabella at that. So, well, let's get you some points, and let's move on. And you're gonna venerate Smednir, because that's what we always do with these guys, and it's just, I mean, magical damage, it's just too good. A Rune of Wrath and Ruin, Rune of Oath and Steel. Oh, we could have actually gone for through to stand your ground. A moment. Still venerate Smednir. What do you have again? Alright, you're unyielding, so we're gonna reset you anyway. A rally. Nobody's rank 7 here, though. So we wouldn't be able to take advantage of that anyway. So maybe we should just get Rune of Wrath and Ruin and Oath and Steel. No, screw it. What about you, Engineer? You will want to keep, and we'll definitely want you to use ballistics calibration and triangulation, like so. I guess get those Ufbar 42 pounders as well. Alright, what about you? Do you have points available on you? You have Bolgi, unit mass increase. Okay, interesting. I guess... Oh, we should get you damping. I should have got damping for the other guy as well, but oh well, too late. Do you guys have damping? Yes, get damping. And Rune of Hearth and Home. Probably should have actually gone for Ward Breaker, but whatever, too late. And then you can have Damping, and you can have Ward Breaker. For the missile resistance and the, well, dispel resistance probably isn't too significant here, but anyway. You, army, are going to be in March stance, because you have to follow this little army, and then you can be in regular stance. And we'll draw the garrison out and we'll fight them all. And some lovely undead fights, valiant defeat here. Well, that's hardly surprising, as these aren't real armies, but I still think that they'll be sufficient for what we have to deal with here. The big issue is going to be bringing Isabella down, because the Chalice of Bathory gives such an insane amount of healing, in combination with her, with whatever else she's got, plus 60% hit points. Yeah, we're just going to have to keep damaging her until she reaches her healing cap. And a level 17 Vampire Lord's pretty solid as well. Alright, should be pretty fun. Let's jump on in, water's fine, go. Alright, here we go, to battle indeed, and I think that this should be a pretty darn fun one. We're going to have to work a lot harder to win this one than King Azrael did, because this is just a random smattering of troops that we got from the Confederations, and essentially spillover troops that we couldn't use anywhere else. So, definitely going to have to work for the win. Looks like the enemy will move towards us. We did Vanguard deploy our Slayer Pirates to try to annoy the first enemy army before the second got on the field. And it looks like the first of the enemy units, the Graveguard with halberds, got pretty much crippled by the Slayer Pirates firing away. Unfortunately, Isabella moves in, pops off that Storm of the Night, and severely damages that Master Engineer, who's going to attempt to escape from there. The second enemy lord that came in with Isabella, however, got obliterated by concentrated fire from those Slayer Pirates. I'm going to try to bring Isabella down, but she moves extremely fast, and by sort of changing elevation, seems to be able to dodge most of these shots coming in from the Slayer Pirates. Gonna do a little bit of running and gunning, however, as we continue to back off and get closer towards our Quarrelers and our Trollhammer torpedoes, who are going to be a little bit of a threat to our own units, but I think it's better to essentially trap Isabella in place and thus be able to focus her down a little bit more. Gonna have some stray torpedoes, and oh my lord, the Slayer unit here rapidly loses about 40% of its HP, but it's probably pretty darn worth it, as Isabella is pretty much done for now and is down to only 20% of her HP, crumbling, and away she goes. Beautiful. Alright, heavy damage to our Master Engineer, but he did survive, and extremely heavy damage to one of our units of Slayers, but taking out Isabella and an enemy lord, I think, probably worth it in this particular case. Especially since we are still waiting for our reinforcements to arrive, which will be here in 0 seconds, so right about now. Starting to run out of ammunition on our Slayer Pirates. Obviously we don't have the engineers that we normally might have in this particular army that would increase their ammunition. But oh well. Fragile Crypt Ghouls are trying to chase down a unit of Slayer Pirates, but got hit in the flanks by the others' pistols as they tried to chase them, so probably didn't work out too well for them either. Alright, and they get slowed down, take cover, shield breaker on them. Not that either one is necessary to destroy the fragile Crypt Ghouls. But as I always like to say, Crypt Ghouls are not to be underestimated. Very strong unit if you use them right. Alrighty, but the AI did not, and that first unit of Crypt Ghouls goes down. Also, I don't remember if I mentioned it already, but just in case I didn't, engagement threshold, 300 likes, 50 comments, remains, yada yada yada. Anyway, bats come down on our miners, preventing them from getting those blasting charges off, and our right flank is where we've concentrated some of our regular or dwarf warriors with great weapons. Since there's an enemy concentration of troops here, we're going to send our Rune Lord to back them up. Maybe pop off a few runes. Buff everybody up with that Master Rune of Oath and Steel, and the massive amount of extra melee defense and armor will mean the bats and the skeletons will probably be able to do pretty much nothing. Not a lot of armor piercing available to the enemy over on this flank, and bats have very high melee defense but very low melee attack. Great for tying up units, but especially with that Rune of Oath and Steel, we'll be able to do not too much. Our reinforcements have arrived and are slowly on the way. Fortunately, our grudge settler grudge thrower is able to provide pretty much immediate support as the second enemy army is on the way. And it's a grudge settler unit, so those shrapnel projectiles will help us make sure that the enemy grave guard, at least, are severely damaged before they arrive. Honestly, at this point, it's almost weird to be seeing the sword and board and great weapon variants of Graveguard as much. When I played Manfred, I just kept spamming, well, I mean, obviously still mixing the troops a lot, but using the Halberdier variant quite a lot. It's been a long time coming that they've been added. Anyway, looks like more bats and more crypt ghouls working together now. And, ooh, gotta be careful with those blasting charges. Probably gonna dish out a decent bit of damage to our own Slayer pirates, and especially without a Lord to buff them up here. And they're gonna have a fairly difficult time, and here comes another volley. Alright. Bounce power has shifted to about 70% in our favor, and we are still, by the looks of it, holding ground, though it looks like the first of the enemy Graveguard have reached our left flank. The right flank is holding, but by virtue of the fact that the enemy has sent much weaker units, this is, I guess, the garrison force with all of these Graveguard, and they're the ones that are capable of overrunning ours. Drake Gun's gonna have to back up, but that's alright, as we've moved in some Iron Drakes to essentially provide covering fire, quite literally, as these guys back off. And the Great Weapon Graveguard should be destroyed by that Iron Drake unit, as long as they don't charge him. Frankly, probably even if they do. And there we go, and the Drake Guns will back off at least a little bit more before switching and then starting to fire back at those units. The enemy's right flank is on the verge of collapse as the Dwarf Warriors and the Summoned Shield Bearers have been able to hold off the sort of droves of trash units, or chaff units I should say. And I do like the red color scheme of Sylvania. It'll work very nicely against our own blue color scheme as we make our way through the enemy's territory. Foolish, foolish move of the Vampire Counts to declare war upon us. Though admittedly it is a big border and a very powerful faction, so we'll still have a fair few of them to deal with. Though not in this fight by the looks of it, as the last of the enemy units, and apparently a few of our own units, get burninated, they crumble, and the battle is ours. Another heroic victory, eh? Lots of heroic victories today, I love it. Alright, there we go. Really fun fight, though, that Storm of Night nearly got our Master Engineer. Gotta remember that the Von Karstein Vamps have access to that. Certainly a dangerous thing for those guys. Otherwise, the battle went pretty well. The damage is relatively minimal, and, ooh, while I'd love to heal, 300 Oath Gold is not something I'd say no to. So I'm just gonna hope that these guys survive next turn, because we're certainly going to execute and loot. Alrighty, and there is still a couple of enemies here at Hornau, but probably, or at least I hope it won't matter much. You're gonna go here, and you're gonna reinforce, and then you are going to quick save, and then you are going to auto-resolve it. Any day now. Alright, there we go. And wait, double check, nobody's dying, at least no, it doesn't look like it. Obsidian Lodestone. Don't need it, but we could turn it into something useful. Occupy. Alright, Vampire Slayer, Obsidian Lodestone. Now, in case there is another army that we can't see, we can't stay in the settlement, because they might attack it and then hit both of the armies. Can't afford to do it like that, so I'm gonna move you up here. Wait, can you? Yes, good. Alright, get into regular stance, and then everybody should reinforce each other. Another Trickster Shard, another Guild Master. Alright, you guys are pretty good. We've certainly made inroads in terms of destroying the Sylvanians, or at least keeping the Empire that little extra bit safer. Hey, they declared war on us, and oh wow, look at that. Draca's actually advanced fairly far as well, wasn't expecting that. She's not super friendly with the Imperials. She's not super friendly with the Vamps. I mean, it's Draca, so she's not super friendly with anybody. Interestingly, she's fighting Clan Ferric, who we're also currently fighting. Oh, right, that's why Akka the Forgotten, not the Wanderer, has been wandering around here, ironically, with that Nemesis crown in tow. Minus 60 Diplo with all factions. Yeah, that's not going to help you make friends, Draca. Not that you were ever intending to do so. I wonder why you're here. Hopefully he doesn't just randomly attack Hell Cave, although I guess that wouldn't be the first time that Hell Cave got randomly attacked, like the greenskins did earlier in an earlier episode. Anyway, Callan Helldower, you're almost ready to move. In fact, let's get some local recruitment going. It doesn't really matter what we recruit, because let's get to one bolt thrower, let's get, I don't know, a couple of quarrelers. Just need sort of a random smattering of troops that we can use temporarily to take these territories, hopefully, without having Ungrim go all that way, as it is a fairly long way to travel. I also noticed that Munzig is owned by the... rats. Alright, fair enough. Alright, Stachel Gundrickson. Ah, yes, you two. You have arrived at Gristle Valley. And I guess we just auto-resolve it because we've got two armies here. So you're going to move on in and grab Gristle Valley. Pyrrhic victory? I don't think so. You should be able to encamp and then move on in and then take it. Maybe I should have used you to reinforce at the camp, but whatever, too late. Alrighty, and double check. Everybody's fine. We're going to quick save, and then we're going to... I mean, obviously we weren't fighting basic ogre bulls and nobblers. I do have a couple of iron guts in there, but, you know. Alrighty, and occupy. And then you can get out of camp and then destroy the Gristle Valley camp. That should have been the last territory belonging to these ogres, and I believe the faction is nearly done for. Shouldn't have declared war on us either. Anyway, heal up just in case these guys survive and you still have to go after them. In fact, wait, if you march stance, you can at least reinforce here against these guys. And that'll allow Brock Ironpick to easily iron pick off the Marrow Muncher Grendel here, and then move after Marrow Muncher. Oh, they're both Marrow Munchers. Aw, little Marrow Muncher team. That's so cute. Anyway, we will auto-resolve this for obvious reasons. Been waiting to sort of mix these armies together in order to get, you know, proper armies made out of them. And with additional units, so I'm excited to shortly do that, because we've nearly consolidated the territory around here, and whether we fight the Wood Elves or not, we don't need to do so right now. Still have to deal with all of this craziness. And then, of course, Clan Scryer is out there, and still causing absolute havoc everywhere. Oh, Bretonia. Yeah, Bretonia's basically fallen. Funnily enough, the little Sigmar Enclave is holding strong there, though. So good job to Sigmar's time. We need more Imperial units anyway. Anyway, Brock, you're gonna hit Marrow Muncher Gar Flint Grinder, and similarly, you're gonna auto-resolve this because we've already killed off his army last episode. Alright, and barely any damage whatsoever. And take the, I don't know, ransom captives this time. Alright, enemy killed in battle, pushing a far side, and with that, the man-eaters are destroyed. You can sit here near Yori, get gold just in case. I don't think you're gonna get attacked by Skaven, but there's more Skaven in the Empire than you might think. For example, okay, well, last turn there were like 5 stacks of Clan Scruton running around. I think they were responsible for the fall of the, of Ergig here, not these guys. I think they must have sacked and then it promptly got destroyed by Nurglite rebels. Huh, and the Kislevites have made their way southward. This entire area is an absolute shambles, but once we fix this area for the Kislevites, and I guess this area, then they can feel free to operate here. We will also probably send Bugman's Caravan here, mostly because I want to pick up the Bleeding Stone here. Granted, at this point, the income from post-battle loot does nothing for us, but the recruit rank +1 is still a nice thing to have. Alright, anyway, who else still needs to move this turn? I can't imagine that there would be too many lords. Who's Kazaran Grimbrow again? Oh, right, this guy. You can't move because you're stuck. So I guess you're stuck here. Alright, fine, fair enough. Let's see, Rurik Whitebeard, who are you again? Ah, right, the guy watching for ogre armies approaching. You know what? I guess we've taken the territory here. We could probably freely peace out with this little ogre tribe now. There you go. Yeah, we'll take their money, why not? We don't need it, but we'll accept it. And they're immediately willing to trade, funnily enough, as well. They probably won't like us for too long. And also, let's take a quick look at other trade agreements available. Thunderguts want to trade, but they're about to die. Order of Lore Masters. Huh. It would actually be trivial to wipe them out because they only have 3 settlements left. Huh. I mean, in theory, if we really wanted to, we could even... I mean, it'll depend. If Wurzag can wipe out their capital at Flying Fortress, I doubt it, though. But if he were able to do that, then we could just allow the orcs to kill the Elgi without even have to sort of sully our beards. I'll think about it. We'd still have to destroy Imrik then, and I don't know what's happening with Eltharion, but I don't know that he's doing well either. Well, he's still alive by virtue of the final War of Vengeance here, though. Go figure. Anyway, Brock Ironpick, you're stuck where you are. On to Tech Thieves now. Alright, so Tech Thief the first. Steel Tech. Tech Thief the second. If I can find you. Tech Thief the second. There we go. Steel Tech. Failure. Okay, this is the bad Tech Thief. The one that died and then promptly was off field for half his life. Tech Thief. Ooh, you reached rank 10, meaning you can upgrade Steel Tech one more time. And keep stealing from these little ratties, which will be destroying ship. You Tech Thieves. Not having good luck with the Tech Thieves in this particular campaign. Fortunately, or luckily for us, the Dwarfs don't have too much in the way of... oh, right, these guys are supposed to go to those guys. Too much in the way of various tech, so we don't have to worry about it. You know what? Hegenbor. Move down this way. Oh, I wanted to check more of the... for these guys. Thanes, Drengul, hey, we got another Traumac. Okay, that's beautiful. We need actually 2 Thanes in this part. Wait. You. In this particular army, so let's get you a Thane. Traumac. And what do we have Runesmith-wise? Thungni's Bloodline, Iron Gaze, and Karaki. They're all fine, and it doesn't really matter which one we take. I'm gonna say go for the Karaki again, just because we're constantly dealing with enemy range units. Or enemy casters. Wayfarer is useless, Innovator is useful, but we don't need that for anybody as yet, depending on... Actually, this army. You know what? Yeah, you could use an Innovator. I do think that we'll put a couple of gyrocopters in with the war sleds, kind of a little mechanical army, though now it is once again making me think that maybe we should give it to a guild master, because it feels weird to have a rune lord lead a mechanical army. But then we could just swap this rune lord into a different army. We'll still probably need several armies to at least protect us near the Darklands, so yeah. Go for best defense for now. Alright, like so. And then, I would actually like to see whether there's interesting guild masters. Maybe we should try Sharp Eye out. Just to see how much damage we can make one of these guys do, just for fun. And maybe we'll do that. So you, Damek, a Doom Tamer, you can come here. Alright, and you keep recruiting. The one army is obviously not enough to protect this entire territory. These Bretonnians should also be super grateful, considering we could have just wiped them out here and taken the entire mountainous territory. But anyway, I believe that's it, so only building left, and that should be reasonably quick this time, because we built, well, most of the buildings that need to be built. Alright, what do we have here in the deeps? We are... I was about to say we're fine. We could build a magma cavern. You know, let's build at least one. I'm happy with that. And what are we here at? Okay, yeah. I was wondering whether we should get rid of the stone bread bakery, but it's going to be a long time upgrading, growing the place rather. You need to be upgraded, so repurposed guild foundries and repurposed counting rooms and grand entrance halls, and the rest is fine. Bakery, grung, and a trading depot, and there are no deeps to upgrade here. There is a trading depot to build here, however, and, ooh, we got the last thing. We are already building the Grugni Shrine and Mount Gunbad. Let's build a deeps location. We need to wait until next turn. Alright, fine, fair enough. Fair enough. We'll do that. Oh, it does mean that we won't be able to get either the engineer thing or the Rune Lord's Guild Hall. But it is going to be one of our bigger money-making territories, so I guess we'll... Frankly, the hangar is kind of a waste then. It doesn't give us engineer capacity. You know what? I mean, it does give us regular dwarf engineers capacity, but I think this place is too many things going for it, so we'll get rid of this, and we'll replace it with one of the other things. Yeah. Alright, glow pit. What do we have here? Ah, yes, more upgrades. Well, let's see if that, if that upkeep reduction actually ends up doing anything. I'm still not sure whether it's actually working or not, considering how many of these we've built, and the upkeep reduction still seems to be over what it should be. Unless it works in a different manner than I had originally assumed that it would. Anyway, entrance halls will obviously upgrade you, and then you, and then you, and then one of these, doesn't really matter. You, and then... oh, we'll keep this place... I guess we could build a... oh, we can't build another deeps there, at least not yet. Alright, fair enough. We will eventually. And none to upgrade here, though we could upgrade another... one of the... yeah, go for it. Go for another unstable magma caverns. Okay, so we're up to 4. We need 10, so 6 more. And then we can stop building those. Alright, what about here? We have no upgrades to do. Black Iron Mine, you will technically want a Great Gate as well, so go for it. West Mad Dog Pass, we will want a Great Gate here. And we just build one here, but we'll wait on the magma caverns. Oh, actually... probably a waste to build it here because we're nearing to tier 5 at Karataman's Tomb, so I'd rather hold off on that then. Karagloon. You're looking pretty okay. A Gromroll Forge for you, and what were we? We are going to build a Citadel, and we were going to build the Shrine, meaning we can't do anything else there. Alright, Silver Tarn, you're done. At least until you're tier 5, which is going to be a bit. Also, wait. No, we can build the Grand Entrance Halls, or at least upgrade them. What about you here? Red Peaks, we'll upgrade the Deep Grung, and then we'll go for a Great Gate. Yes. Peak Pass. Go figure, another Great Gate for you. What did we miss to build at Grom Ridge? Oh, right, that. Okay, fine. Shaded Way. Yes to the Engineers Guild Hall. Yes to the Deep Grung. And ooh, I see the buildings are free in this particular location. And aha, you're nearing to rank 5 as well. We can upgrade the Dwarf Keep here. And we're good. Woe's End. The woe never ends. Game is lying. Anyway, you can build a Great Gate as well. Yeah, we can build it here. I was wondering whether this place would be in a kind of a dangerous position to do so, but I think it's fine. Alright, you are going for the Asgeld Doom, and I don't believe we need to build anything else here. Frankly, once again, the Foundry is kind of taking up position, but not super critical that we do anything about it right now. Ooh, yes, definitely upgrade this for more of those High King Decrees, and we'll get 6 more Magma Caverns. Somebody please remind me that I built 4, because I'm going to forget, and then it's going to be a whole thing. Anyway, you are waiting to build a Great Gate as well, but we have neither capacity nor anything else we can do about it. Cripple Peak. Yes to the Thundering of the Vaults, the Deep Grung, and the Trading Warehouse. We're going to have to grow Nagashazar, which is going to take some time. Might as well upgrade the minor settlements first. You can also have... probably not the construction site... assuming that we build the Great Gate and the Great Halls and the Shrine. That'll be 1, 2, 3. Well, you know what, for now, just build the Armory. We'll be generating a lot of Oath Gold out of it anyway. And continue building the Engineers or the Guild Masters Council. Oh, that also reminds me. Wait, Mountains of Hell. Why didn't I build this? Oh, I guess it was next, wasn't it? Yes, okay. Let's do that, but then, before I forget... after Mountains of Hell, you, Gromby, I wanted to upgrade the Gyro Bombers here to be your personal Thunder Barge. And it doesn't lose all of its HP, so that's fine. Been wanting that since Grombrindle, unlike Ungrim, for some reason, and does not have a Siege Attacker. Honestly, I feel like Grombrindle should have Siege Attacker. He seems like a Siege Attacky kind of guy. Anyway, he should have the knowledge. Let's see, you are going to go for Trading Depot. Yeah, I mean, there's still some adjacency bonus to be found here. It's a little bit far, but besides, the Trading Depot still provide us, you know, faction-wide bonuses in terms of their growth, and everywhere needs to be growing. We good here? We're good here. Blackwater. Alright, nearing the end of this, and this place needs to be redone, but I'll I mean, we'll wait until we've dealt with this issue. This place is fine, though. And Karaz-a-Karak. Yeah, I did want to maintain sort of a watch room slash garrisons in this entire area. So it's going to be a sort of fortified portion of the mountains, and I like the idea. Ooh, you will want to start with the Karaz Ankor, but then you can fortify afterwards. Blackstone Tower, this place will be fortified as well. I'm just going to upgrade this so I don't have to look at it. You can't move this turn. You are waiting because we want to be able to upgrade Karak to tier 5. West Giant Home Mountains, Krakadordan, we are keeping you, so let's upgrade you. And start with that vaults building. Putrid Stump, 820. I think in about 5 turns, every building will become free. As in, we won't have to pay for buildings anymore, because we should have, if nothing else, the... Oh, you don't have the control, eh? Yeah, you'll get there. We don't have these... Oh, there it is. Construction cost -2, so every one of these will reduce that, even if the upkeep production, it's unclear whether it's actually working or not. And also, we should build the vaults here. Alright, Blood River Valley, you, Iron Rock. I would love to build you... Oh, wait. I didn't move Belagar. What the heck? Wait. How did I miss you? A moment. I thought I did everybody. You still have all of your movement. I must have missed... Oh, did I miss anybody else here? Oh, right, well, I forgot about Ungrim, but frankly, that just reminded me, so we're gonna deal with him now. Kadri Asgal, oh. Apparently I forgot several guys. Okay, Kadri, move towards these guys as best you can. You're gonna be sacrificed, sort of, but whatever. Alright, I'm glad I went back to Belagar, because after all that would have been disappointing for him to have wasted a turn. Rurik Whitebeard, I did take a look at you, and then Kazran Grimbrow, you were stuck. Okay, so that's as far as we got, meaning... Belagar, you were up here at Aldium. You are going to quick save and then take out them. Close victory, medium casualties. We already defeated this army and took out all the elites. What the heck are you talking about, game? Alright, well, nonetheless, auto-resolve. Potion of Foolhardiness. And Occupy. Yes. And Aldium immediately up to tier 5. Beautiful. You're going to immediately go into High King's Tribute. We will still build the Goral Mine, and... we probably don't want the Toolmaker's Workshop, or really the Lookout Posts here. We will still want to build the Spice Market, which, ooh, free tradable resources produce, and obviously the Karaz Ankor. We'll keep the Rune Forge 37, and... I mean, we might have room for the Foundry. Delete for now. If we want to, we can rebuild it. I don't think we will, but we can rebuild it. We have the technology. Anyway, was that everything building-wise? Black Mountain was the last one we were doing, right? Alright, so Putrid Stump, you're fine. Mountains of Eyes, not Mountain of Eyes. You're fine as you are. I actually do want to get rid of the Mustering Hall here, as there's no need for it. Keep the Gromrel Forge, though. It's more Oath Gold. Ever more Oath Gold. Omdra's Lair. Upgrade your defenses. Mawworm's Lair. Oh, we're waiting for Omdra's Lair to be upgraded to tier 5, which is why I didn't upgrade that one. Whew, almost screwed that up. You can still go for the Karaz Ankor, because we still need the Oath Gold. You can go for the Scrat Mine, and then... yeah, since this is the sort of militarized province, we'll go for the Sparring Chamber for additional Thane capacity, because we just got rid of some Thane capacity. Kazarla, you're going to be deleted shortly, and by deleted I mean transferred to an ally. Fort Strogov, you're going to be transferred. Gristle Valley, you are not going to be transferred. Get rid of the building, build a Dwarf Keep, go for High King's Tribute, and go for the Karaz Ankor, I guess. I don't know whether you can actually do any adjacency, but it still gives us... some benefit in the form of the Oath Gold. Drakenmore, yesterday are cool. We already have the Trading Depot. Does anything else do any kind of adjacency? I believe this does, but it's only construction cost, which is no longer relevant, as we are mostly done with construction costs. And nothing else, I believe, has adjacency. And this place will never generate significant money, so we're going to go for the gate here. It's kind of isolated, and who knows, it might get attacked. Might as well fortify it. Horrocks Gap. You're fine, you're waiting for a gate. These places will be deleted, and by deleted I mean transferred. These places will be transferred. Fort Skyhold, you will be transferred, and we're done. Alright, that sounds like an unturn to me, so skip. If anybody's screaming at their monitor, yes, I remember about Ungrim. Maybe not such an unturn. Alright, I guess we'll do this little fight. You know what, it's still 2 full stacks, we might as well fight it cinematically. I don't think anybody's grown tired of watching the Slayers fight, have you? Is it possible to grow tired of watching Slayers fight? I don't think so. Go.
Slayers, I hear your howls of longing, desperate to be about this. So go, bring me victory, bring me death.
Alrighty, enjoying Ungrim's speeches there, but probably not as much as we'll be enjoying the Slayers slaughtering their way through hordes of Skaven. Here comes the charge of the Vanguard deployable Doomseekers right into the midst of the enemy, and as long as they remain in combat for, I believe, 60 seconds, they'll be able to spin to win and dish out plenty of damage. Now we do have some Plague Monks here, which is an always interesting matchup against units of Slayers, because the enemy's sort of a very similar unit, and is very likely to actually deal plenty of damage to Slayers, whether it be the Doomseekers or the regular variants. Brotherhood of Grimnir absolutely charging through the enemy ranks there, and have already forced 2 enemy units to rout, and are just going to keep moving as deep into the enemy formation as possible. Blue tattoos aglow, and getting ready to spin to win. We are, however, taking damage here. The Honor Seekers down to nearly 50% of their HP. This Doomseeker unit, by the looks of it, has lost its first 2 units and is starting to take damage as well. But they're also certainly cutting their way through droves of enemies. 161 kills, 205 kills, 290 kills, and 177. In the meantime, the, I'd say, much slower elements of our army have reached the battle as well. Maybe not quite slower, just that they can't Vanguard deploy like the Doomseekers can. But they certainly have to wade in with their axes. Gotta get that XP, gotta get those kills. These guys have to earn their way to be upgraded to Giant Slayers or to Doomseekers. A good way to do it is fighting some Storm Vermin and some Plague Monks. And it looks like this unit is down by about 50% of its HP as well, and I believe this unit was fighting Plague Monks and Storm Vermin, so that would explain that. However, the balance of power is already about 80% in our favor. The Slayer army is generally pretty quick about dishing out damage to the enemy after all. And definitely sort of a blitz-type army. I'm being asked to increase their speed even further. I would like to... We gotta double check if there's a character rune that will give us Vanguard deployment, as it would be nice to be able to Vanguard deploy a couple more units. Frankly, if we could Vanguard deploy Ungrim himself, together with his personal guard of Everguard, that would be fantastic. Alrighty, and well, if it isn't an enemy assassin, gets hit by Ungrim and by Snorri rather than by Garagrim this time around, but I believe Garagrim is around here somewhere. I think he's actually fighting another assassin or an enemy lord or something like that. Alrighty, though it looks like the balance of power is climbing further in our favor at about 90%, and the battle is very nearly ours. A few of the enemy units have routed and rallied and are backing off. You can see the Brotherhood of Grimnir spinning to win in the midst of these trees. At least the glowing blue tattoos make them nice and visible even in under tree cover, where the Skaven corruption makes the map even darker and difficult to see. Alrighty, but it looks like with that, the battle is just about ours. I think one more unit perhaps needs to be torn apart, and then the battle will be done. Ooh, well, if it isn't an enemy assassin who has rallied. Watch him face off against Garagrim this time. I don't know if that's the same assassin that tried to fight Ungrim, but He had no better luck against Garagrim, being brought down to 32 HP, and with that, the battle is ours. Oh, looks like Garagrim can in fact chase him down. As to whether he can land one final blow and kill him. Oh, how did you miss with all of that? Come on, man. Anyway, close victory this time because we did take damage, but once again, Beyond Journey's End, or whatever the ability is called, keeps most of our slayers, at least, alive. Alright, another Scarecrow banner, won't say no to that, and I certainly won't say no to more Slayer battles. Ah, you gotta love the Brotherhood of Grimnir, the Honor Seekers, the Doom Seekers in general, just killing off droves of enemies, and since they have Vanguard deployment, they're always first into the fight. A little bit less kills on our Everguard with shields, but they can't chase units down, so that's hardly surprising, and they're sort of the armored core, as it were, of Ungrim's force in case they get overwhelmed. They can stand together with Ungrim in terms of actually having the HP to take hits. Anyway, close victory, Scarecrow banner. I don't think it was a particularly close victory, but anyway. Craven Slayers did well. The Blue Tattoo group, 17k, damn, very nice. In fact, all things considered, since they have half the unit numbers of the regular Slayers. Occupy the place. Alrighty, enemy killed in battle, Scarecrow banner is good. Black Falls, let's delete this, and most likely we won't be able to get the Cragmere up at tier 5, but who knows, might still want to try it. Alright, and then ideally, man, these guys still have a lot of territory. I really wanted to send Ungrim to fight the undead since he has bonuses against them. But I guess we'll sort of burn a bunch of territories down with King Azrael. He could just sort of bounce between a few of them as he heads towards Silver Pinnacle. Makes sense to me. Anyway, I believe that's an end turn, or yeah, that was the last thing that we had to do. And let's end the turn. And we'll see if we get attacked, but whether we do or we don't, I can at least take care of a turn's worth of admin if we end it. So go. Alrighty, Axe of Dargo, at least Ungrim is unlocking his quests, and now he has both of them available. Mission aborted, the Golden Order. Black Spider Tribe destroyed. Why was the mission aborted? Ready for duty. Technology researched. Another Archivist. Shieldbreaker, Stonemason, Slayer Ward. I assume our alliance wasn't broken. That would be unfortunate. Anyway, we completed the text. That was the corruption reduction. That was useful. Otherwise, we can ignore most of this stuff, though I do like the High King decrees. It's not super critical to us. I think it's better to get the volatile volley and upgrade the Iron Drakes there. And the Masterwork crossbows right afterwards. Alright, we also got the upkeep reduction by interchangeable parts. We're over 300,000 gold per turn now. Stop sitting there, it's making me nervous. I feel like Draika's biding her time to declare war on us, and hey, Vladi is back. Wellity. I think what we'll want to do is we'll want to give him a chance. How are we going to give him a chance, you ask? We're going to besiege Castle Drakenhof with the super elite garrison that he has there. Blood Knights, Hex Wraiths, Terrorgeist, Vargulf, all the good stuff. And we're going to sit here because Vlad will attack us to lead all of those guys to attack King Azrael, plus this army will be facing off against 2.5 stacks and pretty darn good ones at that. I assume you can't reach him? Oh, he's so close, too. We wouldn't be interceptable, though. Wait a moment. I think, yeah, you can't be intercepted. You still have movement range. Maybe we can do this. Maybe I'm not crazy. Go here. Then, you will break the siege. Yes, break the siege. And then you will go from this direction and then besiege again, and that way this guy will reinforce and you'll have your last unit. The Frostwell second last unit. Technically you need another hammer unit, but until the Age of Reckoning is done, we can't get that hammer unit. Anyway, Thorgrim. Unsurprisingly, it looks like the Tomb Kings have backed off rather than face off against the High King, and, well, I think we all saw that one coming. Vikram Burdrick, go here, and you're still recruiting. Need more torps, and you need engineers, which... Are we not able to build? Yeah, we are able to build. They're Trollhammer torps, and this is a Trollhammer army, so 4 dwarf engineers for you, sir. And then 18... Frankly... Oh no, we do need the Thane in here because he has Ironbeard. The rest of the units will be engineers to buff this up. Yeah. Probably want to take out one of the organ guns. We might actually replace 2 of the organ guns and replace them with some Hellblasters from the Imperials. They kind of do fit nicely in with what we got going on here. At least Boris Ursus has access to the heavy war sleds. And the Warbearer. Well, okay, if Boris didn't have access to the Warbearer riders, that would just be strange. And still no Urgan cannons from anybody. Come on, game. Oh well. Missions, yes, new missions. We need those. Toxer. Too far. Jehudiel, yes, so between the turns, the coveted Passion Slaanesh out of Helpit have declared war on us, which is fine. We were gonna go to Helpit anyway. Kruglug, I like the name. Gulator Death Metal, okay, we'll definitely be going after you, sir. Reichland, Vlad is an easy pick because we're gonna be going after him. You have a mission to get Grutter Backbiter, sure. Alright, and while we're here, we should probably double-check those outposts in case another one needs to be built or upgraded somewhere. But it doesn't look like one does. Though we should upgrade the form of alliance we have with those guys. Anyway, let's see. You, Belagar, you want to retake Berkavar. I mean, I guess Barak Dawa's bag is on the way, so we should probably still grab it. I'm a little bit concerned about Isle of Zul and the possibility that these guys take it, considering it's still a dwarf settlement, but we'll start with Barak Dawa's bag. And we'll head Dock Karaz and then bounce back towards Berkavar, or just go straight towards Berkavar after. And, okay, I immediately start doing things out of order, of course. Come on, Ruinous. Every time. I just can't help myself. And, it'll kill off the blasting charges. Okie dokie, I guess we're gonna have to fight that. Whether we do so right now remains to be seen. However, I might fight this between the episodes if I remember. Okay, yeah, back to doing things in actual order. Thorgrim, hit Skullcrag, please. Okay, yes, we will fight this. Ooh, hello, March Dancing Army. You just screwed everybody over. And this should be fun. We'll definitely do that one. And then we got a solid garrison here. We got 3 full stacks against Thorgrim. Yes, this will be the fight for this episode. Let's upgrade everybody up except Thorgrim, who's saving his one last point for one last grudge. You... Oh, you have Sapper, you have Triangulation. You have basically everything we want. I believe Berkvar Handshake does nothing. Yeah, it does nothing. I think it only applies if you're not on the gyrocopter, so there is no purpose in getting it. Where can we apply the last of your points? Leadership Aura, Ancestral Grudge. Let's get you, well, the speed bonus actually doesn't really do too much for you. Let's get you Resolute. Alrighty, Gotrek. Up to rank 32 now. I don't think I've ever leveled him that high before, which is nice to see. 95 melee defense, 100 armor, 80 melee attack. Solid. Once again, worst Slayer ever. Woundmaker. You just won't die. And you, Felix, you know, just get Grandmaster. It's gonna bother me that you know, that's the one unique line point that you have that hasn't been applied yet. You can have Inherited Arms, I suppose. No, you can max out Rune of Grimnir. Certainly do want that. And then you want to max out We Are the Elite. I guess we still want the, so far, 42 pounders as well, but it's all good, at least for now. You have Sharpened Weapons, Retinue Valet, and We Are the Elite as well. You have your Rune Masteries, including Strike the Runes, meaning we can max out Rune of Speed, Oath of Steel, and Wrath and Ruin, all of which we use quite a bit. Oh, wait. We should probably move through Rune of Sanctuary into Rune of Valea, but mostly because of the miscast bonus that we get here. It is a Karaki Lord and the old-fashioned Tinkering, which gives us armor-piercing weapon damage +2 for Hero's Army. We'll stack nicely in Thorax Army as well. Anyway, let's go Scardavet. Make you tank here. Anyway. 3 full stacks. And this will be the debut battle for Thorgrim's army in its current state. Ah, look at that. We got so many Ushabti, so many Sepulchral Stalkers, a Necrosphinx. That is a lot of Sepulchral Stalkers. A faction after my own heart. I love spamming them myself. Anyway, we should be having a great time here. Come on, please. Although, delaying gratification and all that, go. Alrighty, here we go. Look at the shield bearers. Pump those dwarfen legs. Oh, fast Thorgrim. Oh, I love him so much. He's at 60 move speed now with Strider, and he can pump that up even further to, I believe, 70 or so if he uses Flow of Battle to give himself another 20% speed. Absolutely fantastic. Look how much faster he's closing the distance with the rest of the enemy army compared to his main force. Anyway, we're going to start the battle off. It is a choke point battle, essentially separating our army into two. The Air Force will assault one choke point, and the melee infantry force will assault the other. The main thing here is, of course, to destroy the enemy Spokal Stalkers and Ushabti with Great Bow to make sure that they can't fire back at our flyers. Although that should happen pretty darn quick. We got a very strong air force in this particular army. Frankly, the strongest air force we have. Though I'd wager once we get the 2 Thunder Barges and, well, just the 2 extra Thunder Barges plus the Spirit of Grungni, Malachi will just overtake Thorgrim in this regard, but that's fine, and as it should be. It's still a very strong force, and it certainly does justice to the Karaz-a-Karak airfields. Anyway, Thorgrim has arrived in the center of the enemy army. Frankly, he's been fighting them for quite a while now. And the rest of our army has finally moved on in as well. The enemy lord, I think, was too cowardly to actually face off against Thorgrim and has waded into the center of our line instead, kind of repeating the same kind of thing that Thorgrim was doing. But I think that it's going to go much, much worse for the enemy lord, who is down to 5%. Okay, I don't even have time to say it. Who gets obliterated. Beautiful. Our now 2 units of Everguard with shields are able to hold the enemy back, and should the enemy have fired upon them with range, would have been able to block plenty of those shots. We've got a gold shield on these guys after all. 70% missile resistance on top of that, and 49% physical, 125 armor. These guys are so dang tanky. The only thing they lack is the ability to pump those dwarfen legs in the manner of the shield bearers. Nice hit from Thorgrim. KO on that Necro Serpent. And then, frankly, KO on pretty much everything he hits. There we go, and continuing to sort of inch his way forward, he does have the mass to push through the enemy army if he desires to do so. 5.2k, pretty darn good. He does still have 180 seconds of the Rune of Stone as well, with a bonus 50% mass. Anyway, while he leads his infantry forward, the Air Force will move to target the newly arriving enemies, mostly once again to target the Sepulchral Stalkers and the Ushabti with Great Bow, as they do begin to fire upon us. Master Engineer here will start taking hits, and despite the, well, 35 and 25 missile and physical resistance, probably could use a little bit more. I think maybe we'll give them some items to that effect so that they don't take as much damage in the future. Not that they're taking a crazy amount of damage here, mind you. This one's down by about 20% of its HP. And the 2 Ushabti with Great Bow, one of them is destroyed, and the second one is also, by the looks of it, destroyed. Thorgrim's Thundercloud has also arrived and is covering over the enemy formation. Gonna take a few shotgun shots from the Spokal Stalkers, but it's got a pretty big pool of HP, and 65 missile and 25 physical resistance on top of all that as well. Wait, gunship? What is this trait? This unit relies entirely on missile attacks to deal damage and has no melee capability. Oh, okay, yeah, sure, fair enough. Alright, checking a few of those grenades down at the enemy below, and Thorgrim has decided to move towards the second enemy army now, leaving the sort of cleanup to Gotrek, Felix, his Thane, and his Runesmith, and the just huge blob of hammerers. Frankly, the enemy's kind of doing a good job here by virtue of keeping them in place via that choke point. And to be fair, unlike the rest of them, Thorgrim can actually reposition himself on the battlefield quite quickly now. And here he goes, just going after the first of the enemy units that he's sighted, and he'll pop those shield bearers now, been saving those for the time when he repositions. 2 swings of his axes and 2 chariots lie broken at the feet of the shield bearers and beneath the throne. It's almost too bad that he doesn't have an animation where he picks up the great book and then just beats somebody to death with it. Would have been pretty entertaining. Anyway, he's just trying to sort of work his way into the center of the enemy formation. Nice hit, another Necro Serpent, or Necropolis Knight to be specific, goes down. But anyway, he's trying to go as deep into the enemy formation as possible because he does have that Rune of Spite to rely upon. Another unit of Sepulchral Stalkers gets absolutely decimated by a couple of volleys from our Air Force. Very, very nice. And it looks like the hammers have nearly cleared out the last elements of the first enemy army. Thorgrim's now trying to go after the enemy lords, or perhaps the Tomb Scorpion is up to 111 kills and 50,000 damage. And once again, he doesn't have heals, but he's doing just fine. He has 120 melee defense, so yeah, he might not have heals, but unless he's fighting certain lords with just insane amounts of melee attack, he probably doesn't need them. Well, there's that Necrosphinx fighting, and it looks like it's taking on the shield bearers here. Unfortunately, it doesn't have magical damage, and it would probably need them. Do these guys have the standard ethereal trait? Yes, they do. 110 physical resistance. Oh. I assume they have the standard 75, but they also have, or 70, I don't remember what the ethereal does in SFO exactly, but it's higher than in vanilla, ever since that weird nerf. Still salty about that one. But anyway, I guess it combines with whatever other physical resistance these guys are offered, and their max physical resistance. So I guess they'll only take 25% damage against anything non-magical. Anyway, gonna drop a few bombs the enemy's way as our 2 of our units of gyro bombers just sort of fly around. Just want to make sure that the enemy numbers of at least Tomb Guard dwindle. It's not like they're particularly key and critical units to destroy. Thorgrim, still in the middle of the fight, has caught and chased down the enemy Tomb Scorpion, who is now critical and down to about 25% of its HP. And I am absolutely loving the fact that Thorgrim can essentially act on his own. Certainly don't expect it. I mean, last time I played Thorgrim was in Total Warhammer 1, and I don't remember him being anywhere near this useful. And he's been extremely good in this campaign so far. Gets plenty of kills plenty of enemies, whether they be lords, monsters, etc., etc., and with the Rune of Spite does massive amounts of damage to the units around him. Great sort of all-arounder lord. Anyway, balance of power at about 80% in our favor, trying to slowly move towards the sort of second and third enemy armies. Thorgrim's Thundercloud still floating around and just sniped the enemy Lich Priest. And is now going to move into sort of reinforce Thorgrim, but he doesn't really need it. Get a little bit of action with the rest of our hammers as the enemy units of Necropolis Knights charge on in, but this is probably a place they don't want to be, and will be brought down, I would imagine, pretty darn quickly. 99, 104, 107. Okay, over 100 melee attack on all of those hammerers. And that's without the various aura buffs that we are still going to give them once we have enough oath gold to give them, you know, items with auras. Like Ring of Grimnir, for example. And yeah, Ring of Grimnir should in theory go on to the Slayer army, but at the same time, Thorgrim's army is the one that tends to do this sort of blob box type deal more than anybody else, and thus it gets the most advantage out of any kind of short-range auras that are only 40 meters. Frankly, even 60-meter auras aren't that long, so yeah. Anyway, Ushabti are still in the fight. This might be the summoned Ushabti from the realm of the dead, but that hardly matters as well. As the Ushabti fare no better under the massive amount of damage and attack of the hammerers than did the Necropolis Knights. Man, that one toppled over really slowly. Anyway, down go the Ushabti, and the last of the enemy units are melting away, and it looks like a, wow, 270 kills on Thorgrim now. Looks like a Curse of Joff will force him into Rampage. But frankly, forcing Thorgrim into Rampage is probably more threatening than him not being in Rampage. So, anyway, another heroic victory. Man, almost every battle today was a heroic victory. I love it. Fantastic fight. Fantastic work for pretty much every unit in the army. Everybody got to play. Though I think this was more Thorgrim's show than anything. Alrighty, there we go. The enemy stood absolutely no chance for that one. And Thorgrim with 270 kills and nearly 100,000 damage. In fact, he was closing in on Thorgrim's Thundercloud, so the guy is doing as much damage as a Thunder Barge, essentially, but at the same time tanking entire armies. I thought that by virtue of the fact that he no longer has a healing item, he would have become a lot weaker, but it looks like that isn't the case at all, and he's doing just fine. The stats are countering the fact that he doesn't have that healing item anymore, and his speed and mass means that he can get out of the press if he wants to, chase down anybody he wants to. He's in a pretty good place. Otherwise, we got decent damage on the sort of ground forces, but they didn't do nearly as much this time around as, well, frankly, the Air Force didn't do anything crazy either. Hovering but to around 40,000 damage. It was kind of Thorgrim and his Thundercloud versus the three stacks there, and it was damn good. We don't need to heal because we got one unit lost. One of the Mountain Breakers here died. Take the Oath Gold. Ah, that was so fun. And another archive. Oh, now we're getting all the archivists. Okay, I'm not going to complain about getting the Lichbone pendants, however. Those are good in a lot of places. And, ooh, let's hope that it... Okay, good. I was getting a little bit concerned there about a crash. Anyway, don't collect the income, at least not right now. Anyway, folks, with that, I think we are out of time. That was certainly a good place, a good time to end it. Next time, we've got more battles up ahead. King Hakaros has just arrived, meaning Finn and his guns will be able to get a nice fight going, especially since it's a garrison location. We have moved well out into the Badlands, and if I don't forget, I will fight the Barag Dawazbag battle between the episodes, because obviously it's a waste of time. Belagar already fought these orcs with a much stronger army, as we started the episode with a, valiant defeat and massive casualties or whatever it was. So yeah, they stand absolutely no chance here. And looks like next episode we'll be able to get Barak Var. Now the question is... Oh yeah, Varenka kills, so if we can capture Doc Karaz and Barak Var next episode, we'll be able to complete Retake the Realms Part 2, which would be great. It looks like the short victory, it says complete at least one major grudge from the Great Book of Grudges. It wasn't counted when we completed the Karak 8 Peaks grudge. I'm hoping that it isn't broken, because it would be nice to get the control and hero capacity and character experience gain, but I guess we'll see. It's not like that matters. It's about time that we get short victory. Though on the other hand, perhaps the game doesn't want us to get a short victory that it won't give it to us. And I guess we'll have to say, wait, complete 4 legendary grudges. 1 out of 4. Huh? What the heck? Okay, that's a little bit weird. Wait, maybe a major grudge isn't a legendary grudge? What is a major grudge? Legendary grudge, major grudge. You would think that Karak 8 Peaks was a major grudge, but maybe it was such a major grudge that it isn't a legendary grudge? I don't know what the heck is going on, but anyway, we're gonna have to see. For now, out of time, more fights to go. Vlad and his elite 2.5 stacks will face off against King Azrael, who has the Bane of the Dead here, and we'll see how he fares against the bigger numbers and better units. We are now at war with Azag, so we may as well have Malachi bring him down as well, to help our great Orthodoxy / our Kislevite friends. And then we'll hopefully wipe out the Steel Fist Reavers and then be able to move southward towards Helpit with with Grimrindel's army. Plus, possibly, we will maybe do one of the other quests. Cloak of Fierce Scar and the Axe of Dargo still have to be done for Ungrim as well. Lots to do. Stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the longer episodes. If you're into that sort of thing, all glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.